We're getting started here. I'm going to do some shenanigans. It took me a couple of minutes here, but I got my game set up. We're going to be playing some Scythia. I'm excited. Are you guys excited? I'm going to pop open a can of Pepsi. Let's get the game set up, and then we'll record our intro. So we are going to be playing as Tomaris. And we have a whole bunch of religion-esque civs picked here. I think it would be interesting to play against a whole bunch of religion civs. You know what? I'll leave these guys in. We're going to play on a standard map size as Tomaris against this leader pool. Pepis. A delicious Pepsi. So I'm going to take Battery U out. I'm going to take, you know what, Basil. I'll leave Basil in. Basil's scary though. Guitarja, yeah, these are all fine. Take Montezuma out. More. I want to go for more religion-y civs. Gandhi in. I think we got enough here. I think we got enough. Deity difficulty. Ancient era start, a standard map size, continents. What kind of map do we want to play on? That's a real question here. Potatoes. Thank you so much, Young Star 78.
Potato 78, PotatoMcWhiskey.
Tilted axis. It's an interesting one. Wetlands. This is just a continents map with more floodplains. It's been a while since you did a TSL. I don't like TSL games. I'm just going to say it. I don't like it. Archipelago. Lakes. Lakes is kind of interesting. Seven Seas, perhaps. Terra. Terra is a bit cramped. I feel like we need more map scripts. I think I'm going to go for Fractal or Splintered Fractal or something kind of semi-random. Like Seven Seas or Lakes. I kind of like the idea of playing on a Lakes map. Shuffle. Where's Shuffle? Did I scroll past? Does anyone know the actual mechanics of Shuffle map? How does Shuffle actually work, is my curiosity here. Oh, a Shuffle just like randomizes a whole bunch of stuff. Shuffle could be anything. I like the idea. What's the idea of the game? Any added rules? No, it's just a fun run as a Scythia. You know what I'm saying? Thank you for the tier 1 sub, by the way. So I'll play Tomaris, Deity difficulty, ancient era, shuffle, standard map size. Do we want to play a like heavily like religious city state only kind of game where we go bup, 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 or do we want to have other city states in it as well? Do we want to like trim? Do you want to trim the list and add in just a heavy amount? No religious city states. I kind of like the idea of playing with only religious city states as like just a fun way to change this map, right? Or maybe things that interact with faith. Like we could keep let's how do I select none? Okay, like if we go through here, we could play with Valletta and Lahore. Both of these are faith based, and then we add in all these faith city states for fun. Fez, yeah, add Fez. Fez is a fun one. Like I think we're just gonna heavily push. Like maybe we'll have like one of each, but heavily biased towards religious city states. Nalanda is okay probably to add to this as well because the Mahiavara gets faith for adjacent holy sites. Maybe we'll do all religious city states and then like two of each other one, because I think that's the pattern that we're kind of falling into right now. So for these ones, yeah, two of each and then the rest faith. I think is more of a balanced one. Who do I want to bring? I like Zanzibar is kind of fun. I kind of like the idea of something that encourages trading, because then religious trade matters a bit more. So like, Bandar Brunei. Hey, thank you so much, Chris Kistler, for the becoming a spuddy. Where's Nuzlocke? We'll continue the Nuzlocke in the not too distant future. I do promise that. I did want to take a little break from the Nuzlocke.
Potato? Just one as Brazil.
I'm going to go for Hong Kong here because 20% production towards city projects could be fun for a religion game. And then I will go for Auckland because there might be water here and that would be interesting to play with. Same logic for Nan Madol. It'll make this a tier 1 city-state to control. And then Kumasi, I think, is also similarly just like super powerful. So Nan Madol, Kumasi, we'll add in Auckland and Hong Kong. And we will also do Valletta and Lahore, Fez and Nalanda. And then for this, I think maybe Cahokia, Zanzibar and Muscat.
$25 and 0 cents. Love your vids. Can't watch for more in the future.
Hey, thank you so much, Jesse, for the $25 donation. Why not Nagasagarmu? It doesn't have like a religious interaction, so, and these two do. Yeah, I think Auckland, Nan Madol, Kumasi, these are all like fun setups, right? Maybe not Muscat. Maybe Cahokia would be more interesting. How do you read both chats? You just have them both open, like, because oh my god. Yeah. I like this. So we could go to 18 city-states and have every single one of those on the map. Do you want to do a heavy city-state game? You just realized the Sean Bean voice is up now? Hell yeah, dude. It's great, isn't it? Max out the city states or will you go back down to normal? What do you think? "12 of Clans." I don't want to use any of the game modes now today. I want to do a vanilla game. I want to do no modes. I used a lot of modes for a very long time, and I want to do some games without modes. Was that Sean Bean voice? Yeah, I got these guys who do AI voices. Or they're like tech guys. I don't know exactly what to do, but I paid them money to turn Sean Bean's voice into a donation announcer, which is kind of neat. Have you ever played Civ 5? I've played Civ 5. Let's do a max city states game. Let's do low disaster intensity. Let's have a nice fun game. Do we want to do abundant resources for a little bit more fun too? Money. If you do a donation and you like fill it with periods or ellipses or like just full stops and you do them like randomly and full stop space, he makes like weird noises. So you could just do like a normal donation and then fill the rest of the text with like full stops randomly. Disaster. Well, you know what? Let's do disaster 1 for the Great Bath. Yeah, abundant resources. Do we want to select our natural wonders to bias towards religious ones, the ones that give faith? Like we'll just select a none and then go through, and anything that provides faith we just click on. Just have like a fun religion game. Mount Everest, Mount Otapila, Halong Bay, Fountain of Youth, Delicate Arch, Dead Sea, Crater Lake. Did I miss the one that gives a bonus religious units? No. What do you think? This seems like a good setup to me. 9 natural wonders, all of them give faith. Old Faithful? Did I skip Old Faithful? Is that even in? Is that not a Civ 5 one? Am I crazy? Yeah, I think all religious civs picked all heavy bias on religious city-states, heavy bias, or well, complete bias on religious natural wonders, standard star position. I'm actually going to turn off barbarians to make it easier for the AI. And then just for fun, we'll let legendary star positions because that entices a different amount of randomization. I think we leave off all of those modes. We save this configuration. We call this the Scythia religion game. We save that, boom, and then we get started. Disaster 4, please. What do you guys think? Disaster 4? Can you explain the bonus of Tamiris for religion and win and game plan? I'm going to do that when we get started. I think I'm going to listen. I'll compromise with you guys and I'll put it back to disaster 2. Okay, that's the compromise position. Okay, I want it at 0. You want it at 4, so I'm putting it to 2. I've previously purchased all DLCs, Gathering Storm, Rise and Fall. Is there anything missing I haven't purchased? New Frontier Pass? I don't think so. Depending on where you bought it. Do a poll? No, I'm not doing a poll. We've already spent like an hour getting ready to get started, so we're going to go get started now. Ugh. All right, now let's get the recording started for YouTube. Disaster 4, Act of God. Oh, but it's so annoying dealing with disasters. Okay, if you guys can get a combo of 10 of you saying 4 in a, like the number 4 in a row without people being duplicates, all right, I'll do it. However, if anyone interrupts it, you have a minute to try and get 10 4s in a row. Duplicate people don't count. So if you spam, you're making it harder. So if you don't want 4s, you type something other than 4. You type no's. All right, look, you guys didn't even get like, oh, wait, there's a solid run of like 6 4s right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Damn. I was impressed. Holy, you guys almost got it. You actually almost got it. I'll tell you what, you almost got it. I'll put it to 3. All right. Okay. That's as far as I'm going. Let's get started recording for YouTube. Hey, buddies, PotatoMcWhiskey here, and welcome to Civilization 6 Gathering Storm. I've got a huge amount of UI mods installed right now, and you can check those out in the link in the description. Also, did you know that I play Dungeons and Dragons on Tuesdays with a bunch of really cool guys? You should go check out our Patreon and perhaps consider supporting the show. Today we have a really interesting game setup for you guys. I'm going to be playing as Tomiris in a religion game. Now, I'm not just doing a game as Tomiris where I go for a religious victory. I'm doing a game as Tomiris where religion is the only victory. No, I don't like that actually. I don't like it. Because then the AI doesn't know how to do a religion victory, right? Yeah, I'm Morbus, cut that bit out. We'll I'm going to be doing a religion game with a few custom settings to spice things up. First of all, we'll be playing on a shuffle map with 10 hand-picked custom leaders. Thank you so much, Greg Babbitt. And every single one of these leaders has some sort of religious bonus or is just interesting in its own right, like Pachacuti and the Inca. Mansa Musa has a religious bonus. Hojo can do religion. All these civs have some sort of faith or religion bonus. So I'll be up against civs that have really, really good biases towards getting a religion and having good faith output. We're also going to be playing with abundant resources and legendary start positions, as well as a hand-picked select... as well as a hand-picked...
£5 and 0 pennies. Thanks for all the brilliant content. Potato.
As well as a hand-picked selection of city-states that includes all of the religious city-states and then 2 of each of the other ones that would support a religion victory in an interesting way. Like, for example, Fez, that gives you science per population when you convert a city to your religion for the first time. We've also picked a whole bunch of natural wonders that all flow naturally into some sort of faith bonus or religion victory, like Mato Tapila gives you faith, Mount Everest gives you faith, as well as a bonus for your religious units. Otherwise, that's it. We're not playing with any modes. We have Barbarians turned off to give the AI a little bit of an easier time. And that's it. We're getting ready to fire on all cylinders. Here is the game seed and map random seed, if you so wish to follow me along in this game. Let's get started, and let's hope that our first roll on our start location is decent. No, I'm not playing with the more religion mod. Thank you so much. Why is there such a delay? Oh no, my computer's crashing. Oh, we survived.
Hello, Merry Potatoes, smiley face.
What? My Civ display device failed. Okay, let's try that again. Nice meme. That's always fun. Is it because I have Photoshop open? Let's close Photoshop. Oh, my ears. Jesus, unholy Christ. Alright, I need to install that skip the start movie. Alright, let's try that again. Okay. The game seed and map random seed changed, but otherwise, we might be on a...
It's time of the month which I should pay again. T checks for great content.
Thank you.
From the first stirrings of life beneath water. For now begins your greatest quest. From this early cradle of civilization on towards the stars. All people will tremble with fear and respect for you.
The TTS is awesome. Hell yeah, it is. Hey, let me just do this. Yeah, that feels about right for me. And this is a pretty decent start location that we found. We have access to pearls, which is a great source of early faith, and potentially opens up some interesting. Choices when it comes to trading. Perhaps harbors are in our future. I'm kind of tempted to move off of coast, even so. I mean, it's hard. I play coast so often. Let's do a little explore. But I'm kind of tempted that maybe if I get a little bit closer to this sheep, I can do more with Kurgans. And speaking of Kurgans, it's probably about time that we talked about Scythia's bonuses and what makes them such an interesting religious civ. So the first bonus that makes Scythia really interesting from a religious perspective is Killer of Cyrus. All of their units receive +5 combat strength when attacking wounded units. That includes religious units. So not only do they get +5 combat strength against enemy wounded religious units, when they eliminate a unit, they'll heal up to 30 health points. Testing, microphone, testing, microphone, testing, microphone, testing, microphone. What is happening? Why is my microphone cutting in and out? Testing, microphone, testing, microphone, testing, microphone, testing, microphone. What is happening? Why is my microphone cutting in and out? I can't hear a single cutting. Am I being trolled? It cuts off and on? Are you... You know I just stop talking sometimes, right? What? Okay. Let's re-record that. It could be an encoding issue on YouTube because... Thank you so much, Omenborn, for Twitch priming. The first bonus that makes Scythia a really interesting Civ for Religion Victory is Killer of Cyrus. All units receive +5 combat strength when attacking wounded units, and when they eliminate a unit, they heal up to 30 hit points. This actually applies to religious units. So Scythia is incredibly good at spreading her religion across the map using apostles and missionaries because of this combat strength bonus. Now, when it comes to People of the Steppe and Sack a Horse Archer, this really doesn't give us much benefit outside of just having era score and a way to deal with barbarians early. But the reality is, I turned off barbarians for this game because turning barbarians off makes it easier for the AI, so it'll be a little bit more of a challenging game. We also have the Kurgan, which is a fantastic improvement because it gives you +1 faith and an extra faith when you have a pastor adjacent to it, and another +2 when you have stirrup. So in total, you could be getting 1 to 3 faith per Kurgan, which is 1 to 3 faith per population in your city. So pretty damn good. Probably won't spam too many of these. It's not a bad building to spam. But it's not like the most important thing for me to keep up with. So those two bonuses together make Scythia a fairly formidable religious civ. Now we do have to think about, where are we actually going to put our first holy site? And what's our opening build order here? And where do we settle? Because one of the problems that we have is, normally when I'm going for a religion game, I will actually go for a fast settler. But I don't have in my immediate starting location a 2 food tile. And that lack of a 2 food tile will actually hold me back here. But I do have a +1 faith tile. Now, the reason the 2 food tile would hold me back is because if I don't have a 2 food tile, I can't... I can't grow quickly enough in time to research the holy site and get a settler. Right? That just becomes difficult. I could go for River Goddess here as a benefit. The appeal on my tiles isn't the worst. So I'm kind of tempted. Here's where I'm thinking, right? I could either settle in place and rush, some form of astrology, sailing, celestial navigation, and go as this as my early game collaboration of gold, food, and faith, right? Go heavy, heavy, heavy on the coastal style game. Which is, probably entirely viable based on this map that I'm seeing. The other option is to move inland 1 tile and just get a holy site somewhere reasonably okay, like maybe next to the desert, go for desert folklore or something like that, or place the holy site to maximize faith from Earth Goddess. Then I would have a 2 food 1 production tile, which would allow me to grow, and then a 1 food 3 production tile, which would allow me to produce, potentially even go double gypsum here fairly early to crank out my holy site and stuff like that. This is a very, very tough choice. I could also cross the river and move up towards the sheep if I wanted to grow really quickly. So in my mind, there's actually 3 viable city locations for me at this current level of knowledge of the game. And each of these city locations is going to change how I play. Now, the one downside of kurgans is they can't be placed on floodplains. So that's something I have to keep in mind when I'm going to be placing my kurgans next to this sheep. However, they can be placed on desert and stuff like that, but you really don't want to be working kurgans without food early game. So this sheep is actually kind of useless to me when it comes to kurgan. So I think that like adds a -1 to my choice towards going towards this start here. And, you know, coastal plays are okay. They're not the worst thing in the world. We could do something like, if we settled here, we could actually go for a godlike mausoleum in this city. I know we go for mausoleum every single game, but it is a way, like wonders are a viable way to consider to generate science and faith and culture, right? So we could do that. I think I don't go settle towards the sheep because of the fact that it doesn't have fertile land around the sheep for me to make use of the kurgan effectively. And I think moving inland, I think, is a better play in the short term, in my opinion. Like, this feels better short term, and I do feel like the return on investment for moving inland here is huge. And what, like, if I don't settle coastally, what do I lose? I lose 2 adjacency on my harbor. Is that really that big of a deal? I don't think so. Not when I'm already on fresh water. I could also theoretically move 1 down southeast if I really wanted to. It's kind of like, I get the same start location as here, but like a slightly better harbor. And no potential for floodplain flooding, improving my tiles. There's also something to consider here, is that we are playing Scythia, and I think Scythia has a bias towards starting near horses. So if we were to research animal husbandry, one of these 3 flat plains tiles would have a very high probability of having horses on it. And if it were to spawn here, and I were to commit to this location, that would be a complete decimation of my mausoleum plan. So I'm going to actually move southeast 1 tile. I lose 1 pearl in the long term, but I think I end up with a better harbor. I end up with a better harbor. I have no option for growth, so settling is going to be slightly delayed to this game. However, I could go for some sort of food-based religion to help make up for that. But the other consideration I have to think about is, I'm settling on a hill here if I stay in place, which is way more production, or a hill here. So yeah, I'm actually changing my mind now again. I'm actually tempted to move inland. This is just a way more flexible start location. I think we move inland. I think we move inland. This is just way, 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 way more flexible as start location. Like, if we look at the tile quality around this area, it's like 1 2 1 2 1 2, or 1 1 1 1 1 2 1 2 1 1 1 1 1, and then I move here and it's like 1 1 2 1 1 1 1 3 1 1 2 1 3. Like, the quality of tiles here is so much higher than here. And in fact, you know what? We picked up an extra pearl, so it's not like that big of a deal. Now, if this gypsum wasn't on a hill and I could move to it and settle next turn, I actually would totally consider it. We do actually have access to another sheep down here. I'm tempted to move another tile onto the gypsum. It's really tempting. But I'd move away from my early food source is the problem. So I think this is the compromise. I think we settle in place here, And we take our compromised city. Now, in terms of the first item I'm going to be picking up, I'm going to be grabbing myself 2 scouts. I want to go 2 scouts, a settler, and then a holy site. That's my plan for the early game. So for now, I'm going to be like every turn, I'm going to be switching my city's production between these 2 tiles to try to maximize like the lining up of getting the scouts finished and my population growing. Because right now, I would finish 3 scouts before my population grew. So I'm going to have to do like a little bit of micromanagement to make sure that that the 2 scouts finishing lines up with the pop growing so I can build settlers. That's a 3 food tile now. That opens up options depending on how much gold I get early, actually. And I'm actually going to rename it to the City of Compromise because it was a compromised starting location. A lot of desert up here to the north, as well as a couple of luxuries that I might be able to take advantage of. I'm going to send my scout to the south, and there is a city-state here, which is kind of a bit of a double-edged sword, because I was hoping to settle in this direction. That's just the unfortunate reality of being forced to make decisions with limited information. However, spotting a city-state and the potential for me to be on my own island now has reduced my desire for a scout and increased my desire for a monument early. And I'm going to go ahead and work the gypsum because that'll finish growing and the monument at the same time. I think the monument holds more value than a scout at this point now. There's Yerevan. Yerevan is a religious city-state. They want me to train an archer. I'm getting +1 faith from them. And they allow my apostles to choose from any promotion instead of receiving a random one. This is one of the most powerful religious city-states for Scythia in the entire game, so I got incredibly lucky there. That's going to make my religious pivot here is going to be really, really strong. I have spotted tundra, so I know I'm very, very south of the rest of the map. That doesn't bode well. My land quality would have been greatly improved by being coastal here. I gambled on the fact that there would be decent land here, but that's not going to be the case. I'm going to have to rely heavily on coastal cities, which I'm not a big fan of when I'm going for a religion game, because it's a lot of infrastructure to pump out. Before a coastal city is on par with a land city. You just have to build so much stuff. I also haven't found a single tribal village when I'm pretty sure I left tribal villages on, which is that's like extreme bad luck. We got our monument. We have our pop growth. I can crank out 1 settler before I'm ready to build my holy site. It'll only take 8 turns. This didn't line up perfectly, but it lined up okay. And the early monument will help because I'll potentially get some bonuses that'll make my life a little bit easier in the early game. There's our first tribal village. Perfect.
It is not wisdom, but
lovely. There's Code of Laws. I'm going to go ahead and plug in Survey. And I'm already getting Faith. Where am I getting Faith from, actually? That's a good question. I'm getting Faith because I've met Yerevan. So I don't necessarily need God King to get my Pantheon. I could get my Pantheon a good few turns earlier, which would allow me to pick a better Pantheon. Alternatively, I could pick up Urban Planning. I do have a Monument plugged in, so I wouldn't be locked in to the bad card as long as I normally would be. Like, if this was a relic, I would just about scream. Oh my god! I actually have the god luck. I'm actually a god. I was born different. I was built different. Okay? That was the easiest relic predict in my life. Easiest. It was like I actually just won the video game. Never mind. This just made this decision so incredibly easy for me. We plug in Urban Planning, we plug in Survey, and we continue. I don't even know why I doubted it. Any doubters? Did anyone doubt? Pre-recorded, scripted. If you don't know, by the way, we're playing this live on twitch.tv/PotatoMcWhiskey and on YouTube. Trader. I don't even know where to go from here now. This just feels like cheating. I think our ultimate goal is to get the political philosophy relatively early here. There is something to be said for going for an early mysticism to get a fast... Because we did go for the fast monument. So if we kind of rush down the mysticism tree here, it could potentially pay a little bit of dividends in terms of great profit points. It really depends on how things work out. I'm going to head towards foreign trade. So we have absolutely garbage land. We have like this really weird start where some things have gone incredibly well and some things have gone incredibly poorly. Someone just listen, if somebody donates $1,000, I'll sell the relic to an AI, okay? I'll delete the relic if you can. Thank you so much, Shazo, for the
CHF 10.00 sell the relic right now.
Thank you for the Twitch Prime. Or tier 1, rather. I'm not off to the fastest start when it comes to era score. So I don't know if going for a fast Kurgan here matters. We might go for a classical. We might go for a medieval golden age, because then we could like hold off on building the Kurgan and the Saka Horse Archer for the medieval era and get a medieval monumentality build going. Maybe I don't know. I don't know where I am on that one. I do think unlocking horses at Scythia is pretty important. We have the pick of the litter when it comes to pantheons. The real question is
$5.00.
Ask, and ye shall receive.
Thank you so much, Symbol, for the $5. The real question is here, which of these pantheons really makes a difference for me at this point in the game? I mean, part of me says God of the Sea, it would make my coastal, but I was trying to avoid going coastal, but I've kind of in this weird compromised position now that's making my life a little bit more difficult. Thank you so much, Kaylestian, for the Twitch Prime. There is something to be said for going for River Goddess here. Just Sasko, thank you so much for the Twitch Prime. Desert Folklore has been taken, I believe, as are a lot of the early pantheons. God of Craftsman could be really good here, depending on how many horses I roll, but yeah, man, it could go really, really poorly for me. I think I want to look for something with real consistency. Divine Spark is a lot of like faith throughout the game, and it also helps you with getting your religion. Thank you so much, Ausar999. Stone circles might not be bad. I do have access to at least 1, 2. Maybe it's not that good. Man, this is actually really, really tough. This is a really, really hard choice here. I do feel like Divine Spark is like the safe pick. So I'm going to take Divine Spark just because it gives me a little bit of flexibility if I do want to get a campus later. We're going to go ahead and heavily, heavily push Great People points here because essentially Divine Spark is like +1 faith per holy site, right? Because Great People points gets converted into faith later on in the game when there's no more Great People to get of that category. So that just overall is an upgrade to my holy sites in general, which is something that Scythia kind of sorely lacks. Now, the real question is here, which direction am I settling? Am I settling for value now or am I settling for value later? That's a tough choice. I reckon I need to settle my cities very, very densely. That's the reality of the situation that I'm in. I feel like I could settle up here on this near or on this rice and get pretty good value. There's definitely 2 cities up here. Maybe adjacent to truffles would be a good early city. We could do something with that. Or I could come down here and focus on getting these pearls improved. I really want to focus on getting holy sites. So maybe I'll settle right there. I think I'm going to settle on this Plains Hill right here. And then rely on a harbour. We just do not have good land quality. That is one of their biggest problems we're having right now. So some sort of excursion onto the water is going to be necessary. We have to think about where we place our holy sites and how we're going to get our adjacency. Our holy sites are just not going to have very good adjacency this game. That's something I have to accept. I have no mountains. Thank you so much, Damon Rogers. I say we just, since the adjacency of this holy site is like unpredictable, we just throw it down in the first logical place that we can, because there's probably other people. Yeah, people have already started earning great profit points, so I don't think I can delay any longer. I don't have the opportunity. I don't have the like ability to delay anymore. And what I'm also going to do is try to force growth in this city by buying a high food tile, deworking this, and spending a little bit of time.
$2.00. Your content helped me constantly beat Deity Scythia.
Thank you so much. I'm trying to just force the city to grow a little bit faster, because like it's going to take 14 turns to grow otherwise. I think we could grow in 5 and then get that payout really, really quickly. The difficulty here that I have is my land is just so low quality that actually planning districts is just not actually a thing that I can really do. Like, there's nowhere to plan districts, there's nowhere to put them. If I was playing this offline, I definitely would have re-rolled this as like an awful, awful, awful start. I've lost games with better starts than this. Now, the one downside of this city is it's not going to have very good early growth. However, I will be going for fast builders and improving these pearls, because that's just a lot of really good early game faith. And maybe I can do something with monumentality there. My hope is for a medieval era monumentality to get me back into the game right now. I don't think I'm in a great position. And in fact, I think I'm in a terrible position, but I think I can pull it back. If I can secure a monumentality golden era in medieval, I think I can pull it back from being a total loss. So the first great prophet has already gone, which is not ideal. One of the 5 religions in the game is already gone, which is super not what you want to hear. When Stonehenge was built. Okay, that's good.
Boil 'em, mash 'em, stick 'em in a stew. Boil 'em, mash 'em, stick 'em in a stew.
So due to the current status of great people points, many people are on +2. And I think Arabia is actually in this game. I can't go for a shrine. I don't have the time. I have to just do holy site prayers. And hope that that's enough. Now, do I continue to try to grow this city? Or do I pump hard? Well, we do have double pastures here, so that's kind of okay long term. Thank you for the Twitch Prime, Radius. Man, I could go for a builder. I could go for a trader. A trader wouldn't be gold wise. It's hard. The problem is the shrine doesn't pay off quickly enough, and I have to do holy site prayers. But the question is, what tiles do I work while I'm doing those holy site prayers? Do I try to get the city to grow into faster production? Do I buy another horse tile? I think I buy horse tiles here. Three turns slower on growth, but it's a difference of 2 production, which I think actually comes out as a wash this early. But I think double horse here is huge to help me climb my way out of this hole. Another big problem I have right now is I haven't met any other players, so I'm not able to sell like my delegation stuff and open borders and things like that in the early game. That's going to be a big problem with me. I'm not getting early religious pressure. We did just jump to the top of the list in terms of religion. However, that doesn't necessarily mean much. Remember, we're in a game with like all religious civs. So we can't mess around when it comes to getting our religion. I totally forgot that we're not playing a civ that has an early wildcard, so I unlocked mysticism for absolutely no reason at all. Oh, sometimes you just have a brain fart. I'm just going to say it right now. Sometimes you just forget how the game works. There's nothing there. That's all coast.
Vessels large may venture more.
There's sailing, so we can now start building these fishing boat tiles over here in Kuloba. So I'm planning on a Dark Age Classic and a Heroic Medieval. That's my hope here. Pyramids have already been built. We finished another holy site prayers. We still can't go for the shrine. We are top on the Great People charts, so I think one more Holy Side prayer will secure me a religion, which will let me breathe a sigh of relief here.
Potatoes. Boil 'em, mash 'em, stick 'em in a stew. Boil 'em, mash 'em, stick 'em in a stew.
Thank you so much, Nisimble. They renamed the second city as Pearly Gates. Sure thing.
$10 and 0 cents rename second city as Pearly Gates.
There is the religion, or there's Lao Tzu, the great prophet. We shall recruit him. We are going to get second religion. Unfortunately, Feed the World has gone, and I was kind of thinking about taking Feed the World. So we're going to have to think about our religion pretty hard here. Not naming that city Pearl Harbor is a war crime. Listen, dude. Trying to keep things upbeat.
Boil 'em, mash 'em, stick 'em in a stew. Boil 'em, mash 'em, stick 'em in a stew. Potatoes.
Thank you so much, Toe Smasher, for the Twitch Prime, and Ice Fury for the Tier 1. We'll call the religion Tamara's Last Wish. Ugh, blah, blah, blah. We'll call the religion Tamara's Last Wish using the turtle icon,
Enjoy
which is
some
my
Jeff
favorite one.
Bezos books, D.
Thank you for the Bezos books. I don't know why the donation noise is so delayed. So we're in for a bit of a tough game here. We're in for a very, very, very tough game. And we have to really think about how we're going to climb out of this hole. Now, a Reliquaries play is open to us here. This would give us a ton of faith right now. And potentially with the addition of Yerevan, I think it is, we could potentially get a lot more relics as the game goes on. But I don't think that's really a play I want to make as Scythia. Unfortunately, the adjacency on my
Name
holy
religion
site...
Tamara's Last Wish.
Jesus, what is that delay? Unfortunately, my holy site adjacency isn't high enough to really make work ethic work. I'm trying to think. None of these things really do anything that I want. Choral music is just a good default. It's a lot of extra culture. My land is so terrible, I might need to just take choral music. That'll allow me to get to late game faith generation stuff quite a bit easier. I think I'm going to take choral music. I think I just need it. Pilgrimage is quite good. I think I'm going to take Holy Order this game. We're going to be spreading the majority of our religion using apostles, especially in conjunction with Yerevan. So Holy Order is just necessary for me to secure right here. And it also means we can evangelize our religion a little bit earlier. And we can choose to evangelize our religion a little bit earlier this game because we have no neighbors, so nobody's religion is going to really threaten us early. If I was thinking there, I actually would have delayed founding my religion until the next era for the extra 1 point. However, the one downside of that is someone else might have beat me to one of the beliefs I wanted. So I think the decision I made here was totally reasonable. Shrines, like, my land is so bad and shrines are so good that I think I go shrine over settler. Unironically, I think I just go shrine over settler. There's Norway. Nice to meet ya. That is useful. He is at least somebody I can trade with. And that's good for me to have because I do have luxuries that I can give him. His science and culture is absolutely demolishing me, and he probably already has his own religion because he has 400 faith in the bank already, which is ridiculous. But he will buy my pearls for 6 gold per turn, so I'll sell those to him. I'm going to need to get horseback riding this game, so I pretty much have to start researching it immediately. And now I'm worried about Norway coming over here and settling my northern island. So I'm a little bit worried about that. Let's improve the horses. That'll give me access to a boost for horseback riding, as well as 2 horses per turn that I can sell to Norway, and +1 production in this city, which is quite a nice boost. So here we are with the classical era, and we only need 20 points to get a golden age here. So that's absolutely what we're going to be doing. We're going to take Exodus the Evangelist, so that spreading my religion has extra value for me. I can spread it to Yerevan and compromise pretty quickly here. Which is absolutely what we will be doing. Once we have this shrine, we'll quickly pick one up. Thank you so much, say Zo Hannibal, for the 5 Czech francs, I think they are. Even the AI wouldn't settle this land. I unironically agree. This is absolutely garbage territory. And we have our shrine, so we have a pretty good culture. So we can start now cranking out those settlers.
CHF 5.00 even the eye would not see till this land.
Norway wants to buy my horses, and he'll give me a decent amount of gold for it. I'll take that deal. I'll probably just be selling my horses to Norway essentially continuously here.
A strong economy.
We have access to state workforce in the government plaza. My hope is that that is relevant for me. I don't have enough chops to make Magnus worth it. Pingala could be really good for helping me catch up in science and culture. Moksha is also not too bad for religious spread. I'm not worried about spreading my religion right now. I think I just need to get myself back into the game. So I'm going to pick up Pingala and plop him into Compromise City for the extra faith, for the extra culture and science.
$3.00 your island looks like Great Britain, and now Norway is your first encounter.
True. Oh, Swiss francs, my bad. I get wrecked. All right, we converted Yerevan, which gave us +2 era score. And it was also the first time I converted it. So now they follow my religion. They did want me to build, if I check my envoy quests here, they wanted me to train an archer. I'll probably like purchase one or build one or something like that this game. To get that envoy, because it would be nice to be suzerain of them. That's extra Diplo favor that I can sell to Norway. So I think training an archer will be
CHF
something we do.
5.00 Zisek
The
francs.
forces of evil become
That's offensive
confused
emated
while
Swiss
your
francs.
arrow's on its way to the target.
Now in Pearly Gates, the real question is here, I don't know how the city's getting more production. That's the real question I have here. Unless I like place a mine here and work it. You know what I mean?
Potatoes. Boil 'em, mash 'em, stick 'em in a stew. Boil 'em, mash 'em, stick 'em in a stew.
I will need this city to build a galley and maybe an archer. And I have a limited number of turns with which I can get all that done. I should play like I have only 35 turns in this era. And I think the galley now is my only real option for exploration. So picking up the galley now is a good idea. And in 3 turns, I'll switch in the double production card. So maybe for now, instead, we'll just work on a holy site. God, I hate these holy sites. They're so bad. But like my holy sites are so terrible. I don't think I have any option but to try and build them slowly. These are legitimately some of the worst holy sites I've ever seen in the history of Civ, ever. Boom, there's Pearly Gates converted, which is giving me really good era
CHF
score.
5.00 Swiss Civ missing frowny face.
I mean, I'm pretty sure. What wasn't Switzerland in the Holy Roman Empire? You guys have Frederic.
Look back over the past.
Right, there's early empire, so I'm definitely gonna definitely change my government here. Like colonization would be good. I need those settlers out. More than anything, though, I need to just get political philosophy in a reasonable amount of time. I totally forgot. I can't believe I did it. I can't believe I forgot. I forgot to change this card to the galley card. My God. Let's take culture on Pingala to try and get us back into the game with a little bit of meager culture that we can crank out. We will improve the quarry for the gypsum. And since I don't really need those amenities, I might sell them to Norway. 4 gold per turn just does not feel like enough for gypsum. So, I mean, I'll sell it anyway because I'm that kind of guy. Norway definitely thinks my seas are all too easy to raid right now, which is not ideal because he is in a golden age.
CHF 5.00 Swiss Civ would be like when other people are at war, you will earn money for being neutral.
True.
Ruffle.
Plus 5 gold for every civ other than you at war with a civ other than you. That would be the Swiss civ. I'm going to send these next 2 settlers up north. And I'm primarily interested in growth in the short term here. So the positioning of the city matters a lot because I'd like to get 2 cities up here to take advantage of these coastal tiles. The rice also being a 5 food tile is huge for me. I'm thinking of settling on this forest, although that's like my only production tile. Maybe on the rice could be huge. 1, 2, 3... and then maybe adjacent to the truffles. So I think I'll go settle on the rice. It's my best move up here for the north. There is the potential Giga Campus over here. That's a +6 right there from a single district. Norway's already here exploring me, which makes me uncomfortable. He's already got a scout on my landmass.
Potatoes. Boil 'em, mash 'em, stick 'em in a stew. Boil 'em, mash 'em, stick 'em in a stew.
And the reason it's getting +6 is because there's 3 reefs here. A good way you can tell if there's reefs up in an area that's in the fog of war is look for the production symbols. If there's production symbols on the water, that typically means there's reefs. So there's 3 reefs here, which totals up to 6 signs. Thank you so much, Camel and Kuzsku. Just improve this pasture so we have a
city to Kralix.
Generally I don't take city pre-names. Ideally, please wait till I actually settle the city. But yes, I will rename a city to Kralix. Thank you. I could theoretically get 3 cities up here if I were to settle on this really good reef tile, on the truffles, and then on this. But they would be 3 really bad cities. They would have really low quality land. And so I think I want cities with slightly higher quality, and then hope that I can settle my way out of this issue with a medieval golden age, or heroic age rather. There is an island over here. So once I have horseback riding, I pretty much want to rush shipbuilding. Our settler is in place. Let's go ahead and pop down on the rice tile. Now, the advantage of settling on the rice, the marsh does get consumed, but it means the city center has 3 food, which means this city will grow relatively quickly compared to other cities. It will need builders over here fairly quick before it just like reaches its pinnacle and then like stagnates. But that's something we can do. Because we have like a huge gold line, so I can immediately purchase a builder in this city, get these horses online, make a difference, potentially get some amber online, sell that to Norway as well. I think this city has potential thanks to the situation that I'm in. That's one of the things you got to do. Sometimes you just got to find value where you can get value. And right now I don't have a lot of options for good value. So I'm taking it where I can get it. Is a monument important enough for me to build, or would I rather build a trader or something? Monuments feel relatively important to build. So I'll grab that monument. It's a lot of culture. There's our nice, delicious horses over here. 3 food, 2 production tile. That's a really, really good start off for this city. Now that we found horseback riding, that's another +1 era score. We'll immediately get to work on shipbuilding. We'd like to be able to cross oceans when the next era comes, and we'll convert the city as well. So we're already up to 14 era score, and we're only a few turns into this era, so we're not doing too badly. The potential exists here for this to be at least not a completely trash game.
Divide and rule.
We have our new government. And man, is this a game for autocracy here? +1 to all yields in my capital? Or do I go for Classical Republic here? I feel like Classical Republic is just better in the position I'm in.
$11.31. Love you videos and streams. Could you name a city Ali Meadows? Smiley face.
Please don't donate for renames before I have a city settled. It makes it really, really difficult. Because I have a hard time keeping track of it and remembering. I don't even know what that dono was. like what platform it came on. Alley Meadows. Okay, I found it. I do have to keep maritime industries plugged in here, but I can flip it out when I'm done building my galleys. I could theoretically plug in something like monasticism if I wanted to. This is an overall profitable trade for me, but I'm not sure that's what I would do. I think charismatic leader here will help me out when sending envoys to people. And I think that's our setup. I think we go for colonization, urban planning, charismatic leader, and maritime industries. We're just going to try and settle as many cities as we can here, convert them to our religion. Speaking of converting them, I will need one more missionary. Let's improve the amber and then immediately go ahead and sell it to Norway, and he'll buy it for 4 gold per turn. That's a huge amount of gold per turn. It's really carrying us now. A city-state has been defeated, which is a little bit unfortunate, and somebody took... oh, no, nobody took sovereignty of Yerevan, actually. I'm wrong. Let's also go here and sell off as many horses as he's willing to buy. And he bought as many as he could. So I really need these galleys now. So let's come in here and switch to Galley Production. 10 turns for you. And 9 turns for you. I need both of these galleys out for the boost for shipbuilding and also to find people to sell things to. The lack of having things to sell to is a bit of a problem, actually. I'm kind of tempted to actually settle south of the truffles, but this city is so terrible. Long term, that I don't think I can muster myself to do it. All right, let's settle over here beside the truffles, and I don't think I do have truffle tech, so I can go improve that. We're up to 19 era score. We only need another 12, and we have 8 in the bank with regards to the Saka Horse Archer and the Kurgan. So I think we're on track for a heroic age. And the real only missing part of that puzzle is shipbuilding. And the hope that there's actual things to settle out there. Thank you so much, Trash Player 85 for the Twitch Prime. People had city renames. I don't even remember what they were called. Does anyone remember what this is meant to be called? I got it. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you for the help. That's why I really prefer it if you wait to donate for a city rename when the city's actually settled, because then I could just immediately do it right away, and then I don't have to try and remember and figure it out and write it down, and it just throws me off. I might just institute a rule where I ignore city renames if there's no free city. I have enough gold now to get myself another builder. It's not a bad move. I have options with regards to what I could buy. I could also just buy a monument in one of my cities. Norway will pay 4 gold for my truffles as well. I'm just selling off all of my luxuries for as much gold as I can get over time. And my hope is that that overtime gold will pay off dividends for me. Here's the thing. Do I keep settling? These are objectively terrible cities, but do I keep settling? I don't think so. I think we try to now secure extra value and era score. So if I build an archer, I'll be able to get suzerainty of Yerevan. That seems good. And then if I also build a builder, I might be able to make something happen there too. There's a 4 food tile here, and now that I'm not building settlers, the city's population won't be tanking. So I think prioritizing food in this city is the right move. And over the long term, we'll start working out these slightly lower food tiles. I think we settle later with monumentality at better value, and then we bank to get our government plaza in here. I probably should have, if I was playing this correctly, I would have done a little bit more planning, and I would have put a government plaza here, and then like 2 holy sites adjacent, and then this would have been 2 plus 2 holy sites or whatever, which would have been pretty damn good. Like, not terrible, but better than what I have right now. I think I was kind of on a brain fart. I could always do government plaza in between these, but I don't know. There's our first galley that's worth 2 era score, and then we have more or less secured our heroic age. I'm going to just like pop down here for 1 turn. Yeah, it looks like it's just all ice down here. And most of our exploration should be directed up here towards the north. Yeah, this is huge. Okay, this is a big turnaround for us if we can get the if we can get a good faith line going heading into the next era.
Potatoes. Boil 'em, mash 'em, stick 'em in a stew. Boil 'em, mash 'em, stick 'em in a stew.
We'll soon have theology for temples. I've got 11 turns, essentially, to get my faith up to the point where it'll matter in the next era. That's not a huge amount of time. Thank you so much, Como Chavez, for the Twitch Prime. Even if this is a small island, getting 2 extra cities is actually huge for me this game. Okay, Norway likes me now because I have a big navy. Okay, literally 2 galleys. 2 galleys. Your navy is huge. I feel like Norway has navy dysmorphia, right? He doesn't know what a big navy looks like, so he just thinks any navy is just huge. Thank you so much, Cytrio, for the Twitch Prime. There's another player over here. I can't tell who it is. We have access to theology, so we have temples and holy site adjacency bonuses, but we're not going for holy site adjacency bonuses. We're going to take out maritime industries. We're going to take out colonization. We're going to plug in literally anything that gives me value right now. Builder production could be good. Man, I really don't have good options here. Isolationism is fine because I'm not planning to train settlers. I could buy a trade route and make use of it. Then otherwise I'll just take a 30% production boost towards builders and what I could do in my capital. Which of these cities needs the most help? Probably the city I'm about to settle, so I'll buy a trader in here and trade with my capital city to improve it using isolationism. Now that I have access to theology, I can think about what my next steps in the game are. I want to be thinking about governor titles and envoys and era score and exploration. I think getting to monarchy here would be pretty good, and then following it up with a quick reformed church wouldn't be bad. A fast civil service. If I could get a religious alliance with Norway, that would be terrible this game. I think I'm going to go for recorded history here because I want that governor title. The cool thing is that Yerevan has pearls, so if I can maintain suzerainty of that, I can sell off every single copy of my pearls to other players in the game. And that'll represent a huge portion of my economic output, like selling off those luxuries. I don't currently have a plan for Mausoleum, but I really should. have a plan for Mausoleum. I mean, I need to get this government plaza in my capital. Pearly Gates just has absolutely horrible production and no growth. I mean, if I can get my capital to high enough population, I might be able to do both in here. Man, Mausoleum just doesn't feel good enough for me this game. I know that sounds absolutely insane to say that. I can't settle my city because of isolationism. Oh, that'll be fine. I'll switch it out next turn. It'll be fine. I forgot about that. It happens. Oh, I forgot to check who this player was. He wants my Shroud of Turin. I'm going to refuse that deal. You know what? I think I will go for I'll go for the Mausoleum in Pearly Gates. This is the best harbor I have, and so I'll see about putting a Mausoleum on this one tile island. It is expanding into hills, so we could do something with that. This turn, I need to... Oh my god, that's so expensive. I wasn't expecting 200 gold. But we're suzerain of Yerevan now, which is a big deal. I just wish Yerevan gave me a little bit more than like a trickle of faith. Man, I have so much I need to build in the city. But this city's production will escalate like at a ridiculous rate if we continue to allow it to grow. Norway will buy pearls for 12 gold per turn. It's like an insane deal for me right now. Mansa Musa is a big meat here. Not only is he absolutely huge, but we can actually potentially make friends with him. Thank you so much, Orion0212, for the Twitch Prime. The potential for trade here with Mansa Musa, this thick boy, is incredible. We can sell him the pearls because we're getting pearls from Yerevan, and we can also sell him literally all of our horses for 14 gold per turn. Thank you. How do you feel about Diplo Favor? Norway pays better odds on Diplo Favor. So I'm up to 58 gold per turn from selling things to the AI. Now, I might only be able to get 2 cities onto this island, but I think that's enough for me to get back into the game a little bit. Because I should now start finding more land. Because there should be a lot more land than what I've found so far, considering how many city-states are in the game. Let's pop in here. And I hate to do this, but I will pay the 200 gold to get rid of isolationism. And I guess I'll plug in conscription just for a couple of turns. And then found the city. Boom. Yes. I will purchase a trader in here. And then immediately get to work on literally the best holy site in my entire empire. A +1 holy site. I don't care so much about culture right now as I do about getting my faith. So holy sites are pretty much my #1 priority in every city except Kralix, because I want that city's borders to expand a little bit. Did you just pay 200 gold to settle a shit city 6 turns earlier? Yeah, I'm down bad, dude. I'm down bad, okay? It's not going well. So I'm going to go ahead and buy... Oh, they're 400 gold for a sack of horse archer. That's actually way more expensive than I thought. I'm going to have to chop out a sack of horse archer here. I thought I had more gold and more time. Maybe I can sell open borders for raw gold now. Ooh. Yeah, I'm down bad now. I thought I had a little bit more time to get my horse archer out. I might be able to squeeze it out. Let me think here. Yes, actually, with 5 turns of 64 gold per turn, I think we can do it. I think I would like to unlock iron now because that's another resource I can sell to the AI to claw my way back into the game. Ooh, we met a city-state and we found a gradient dust storm. Who is the city-state that we met? I'm like, oh my god, Auckland, your galley is so far away. However, finding Auckland here is a pretty big deal. I will be putting an envoy into them in the near future. And they also want religious conversion, so that's something we can consider doing later on in the game. There's our second holy site up now, and a shrine is only slightly more expensive than a monument, but still gives me the +2 faith, so we just rush monuments now and hope that our faith gain and culture can get us out of this hole that we're in. Mansa Musa does not have his own religion, so if I can get a couple of converters over there early, that could change the game for me. There's Armagh. Beautiful, beautiful. We were the first to find Armagh somehow, and they want me to train a sack of horse archer, so that's actually perfect. I'll be Susan of them in no time. They also give me access to the monastery, which could be big for me too. Also, I'd like to point out that this was on Legendary Start, and I got an absolutely trash starting location. Like, really just hot garbage. So I need to be staying really, really careful on like timings on how much gold I'm getting, because I need to buy a sack of horse archer the turn before this rolls over, and I also need to make a kurgan. Both of these players are willing to be friendly with me, and I think that might not actually be a bad move for me, considering how far I am behind. Being able to be friends with these guys will buy me the time that I need. Also, potential one-tile island, although it's minus 11 loyalty, never mind. There's more open land up here towards Armagh. We could have a long, thin, snaky empire. I can get 104 gold from Mansa Musa this turn, which secures me the sack of horse archer. And securing the sack of horse archer is +4 era score, which puts me 1 era score away from finishing. And then if I just find a continent... Okay, I didn't find a continent, that's unfortunate, but maybe the city-state meat will actually boost me here. So I may not have to commit. I may not have to commit towards using my Kurgan era score this era, but I can make that decision next turn if I can get +1 era score from something. Maybe taking Suzerainty of Armagh would do it. There it is, +2 era score. So I can save my Kurgan era score for the next era, which is perfect, like +4 era score. Amazing.
If bread is the first necessity of life.
Norway is actually converting to my religion. This is huge for me, actually. Let me have a look. Did Norway get a religion this game? Norway did not get a religion. So I could potentially get a religious alliance with Norway, and that would make a big difference for me. So I don't need the Kurgan here. I don't need the monastery. I think getting the government plaza over the temple is the right move here for me. I'm going to send my sack of horse archer on auto explore in the hope that they find something useful.
Potatoes. Boil 'em, mash 'em, stick 'em in a stew. Boil 'em, mash 'em, stick 'em in a stew.
Thank you so much, Halabumba, for the €5 donation. I think, though, that's us now in the medieval era, and we'll be able to secure ourselves a very, very strong heroic age. We're
Potatoes. Boil 'em, mash 'em, stick 'em in a stew. Boil 'em, mash 'em, stick 'em in a stew.
definitely going to be picking up monumentality here. That is just a huge value move, as well as Exodus of the Evangelists. Potentially here. I could also go Penbrush and Voice for that little bit of extra culture across my empire. It's really just down between Free Inquiry or Exodus, and I feel like Exodus...
€5.00 you should play a round of Civ with the game set to a foreign language and see how you do. I mostly want to hear you pronounce shit.
Thank you so much, Halabumba. Exodus here is nice because it does... That +4 great profit points gives us... the +4 great profit points here gives us a little bit of faith, because that'll get... great profit points gets converted into faith, and... if I say I run out of faith to buy settlers, I can crack out just a couple of missionaries and spread my religion a little bit in the late game of this era. So I think with this heroic age locked in, an absolutely terrible start location under our belt, but with a glimmer of hope on the horizon in the form of some land up here to the north. And I might add, it's not very good land. But there is a glimmer. There is a very, very tiny glimmer of hope here that we can get ourselves back into this game. That's going to be it from me. I love you all very much, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye. Okay. That's the... that's the first episode there done. And that was an interesting game. This is an interesting game. We're going to record another episode. What time is it now? It's just 6:30. So I should be able to get 2 more episodes in. No, we're not done. That's just the cliffhanger for YouTube, okay? Deity annoys me. I don't feel like it's actually that hard. It just forces you to min-max. Classical error comes along. Sure, you know what you use neither, but you haven't discovered the wheel yet.
Mash 'em, stick 'em in a stew. Boil 'em, mash 'em, stick 'em in a stew.
That scared me so much. Listen, guys. Every time where I just record my outros, maybe I should record my outro separate. You can see here we're getting 5.6 faith from excess great people points. You should have gone by harbour science because you have good harbours. Here's the problem with that. I'm not going to be building harbours in time. I'm going to be primarily focusing on getting shrines and temples out so that I can get as many settlers out with my thing.
$5.00 potato, my family. And I a huge fans we love you.
Thank you so much, Aniket Pujara. The reality is it just isn't viable, right? It's going to take me 27 turns to build any sort of district in most of my cities. I have terrible, awful coastals, awful cities. Yeah, just... If I wasn't going for a religion game and I was going for a harbour game, absolutely, you were right. But yeah, just the position I'm in isn't viable to do what you want me to do. Why not monumentality and spam settlers? That's literally what I'm doing. I have now activated my almonds and we will be spamming settlers. Is that Sean Bean? Yeah, I got a AI, these guys who do like AI stuff. I got them to train an AI voice to read my donos. It's kind of neat, right? Thank you so much. Okay. Any questions before I start playing again? Any questers? Iron on... Ooh. If there's iron here... I mean, I go from a +4 to a +3. Is that really that big of a downgrade? I think it's not worth really caring. Okay. Hey, buddies? PotatoMcWhiskey here, and welcome back to Civilization 6 Gathering Storm. Or is it New Frontier Pass? I can't remember anymore. Listen, we're down bad, okay? Our empire is in rough shape. However, we are playing Scythia. We are going for a religion game. And we have managed to make it to the medieval era with a heroic age. And we are cranking out Monumentality, Penbrush and Voice, and Exodus of the Evangelists. So our options are wide open right now. It is a brand new, fresh era, and I think my move right here is to go ahead and grab myself a couple of settlers. Now, the advantage of playing without barbarians...
My first sub 200 Deity win because of your vids.
Thank you so much, Anonymousless, for being a member for 4 months. The advantage of playing without barbarians means that the AI does have an easier time, because the AI tends to have a harder time dealing with barbarians than players do. It also means I can send settlers unescorted into the fog of war without fear of them getting yeeted by a barbarian caravel randomly. I need to think carefully about how I use my builder charges, because I'm not going to get a whole lot of them this era. I'm already working these high food tiles. So if I'm already working these high food tiles, potentially putting a farm on them does make sense. However, these tiles have already flooded a couple of times, so I think committing a full builder to this entire thing would be bad. I think putting one farm on this wheat is totally valid, because it is a nice growth bonus for this city. I also think the city is focusing a little bit too much on growth right now. So I might lock in some like okay growth tiles and then focus on growth and production here. I think I need to transition the city into just a little bit more production. 13 is quite low at this stage of the game. We've had an absolutely horrendous start. Let's just be real here. We did find Cahokia, which isn't bad. And they do want a Eureka for construction. Now, the Eureka for construction, if I remember correctly, is to build a watermill, which is something we could potentially do in our capital. But that's a lot of production to invest into a single Eureka. If it was 2 Eurekas, maybe I would consider it. I don't really care about either of these, and as far as I know, most people are probably going to vote for religious city-states for double the yields. So I'll vote that up once, and then usually people say that units should be cheaper to produce, so I'll vote that twice to try and force the outcome and get myself 2 diplomatic victory points. Yeah, it looks like we managed to nail both of those, and that's a perfect World Congress for me. Thank you so much for the Twitch Prime, Minster of Munch and Chizuru382. I don't know if I missed anyone else. Build charges. I really do want to meet more players. That's going to be the big thing that triggers me to get a lot of value here. So if I could maybe get Suzanty of Auckland, I might meet another player, because meeting another player would give me the ability to trade with that player and get rid of these resources like my horses, because like I can't get rid of them to anyone else right now, which is far from ideal. So there's definitely 2 cities going down on this island, possibly even 3. With this amount of land, I think 3 cities is entirely possible. 1, 2, 3. I think if I settled here, here, and then somewhere up here, like maybe there. So these 3 cities are kind of what I'm considering right now for this island. 3 extra cities is a big deal. It's more than the crappy amount of cities I had before.
Potatoes. Boil 'em, mash 'em, stick 'em in a stew. Boil 'em, mash 'em, stick 'em in a stew.
So one thing that I'm worried about is the appearance of iron on the island that I want to get the mausoleum on. If iron does appear here, it's not the end of the world, because I can just move the harbour down here. It's a +3 harbour and put the mausoleum there. So I'm not too horribly concerned about that. I would also really like to maybe pick up lumber mill tech. So I'm in a very awkward place when it comes to the game right now. And I think I would also like Pearly Gates to maybe have a little bit more housing. I'm not sure Yeah, I think I'm going to use 2 charges on more fishing boats for this city because it just needs housing. Like, really badly. But I really, really, really need to get suzerain of Auckland here. On a coastal map like this, suzerainty of Auckland is just huge. So I might be able to pull that off once I get the defensive tactics. I can plug in the double first envoy card and then send in 2 envoys to it and get suzerainty perhaps. But this will be probably one of the most important city-states to hold suzerainty of this entire game. Norway has already started to claim some of these uninhabited islands, which is very scary for me because that means the amount of land on the map is already starting to shrink. Norway is probably one of the worst civs that could have appeared for me here on this map. Just this particular map. Because he can already cross the ocean super early into the game, so he just has a lot more freedom when it comes to like screwing you out of settle locations. And I'm pretty sure he just also builds a massive navy too. So for this particular map, Norway is actually a problem for me. But I can probably sneak over here and convert a city. And every city I can get converted early saves me conversions down the line. Man, the land quality here is actually garbage. Like, I really just do not have good land options, which is very, very concerning. So the iron was on the one tile island. That's not so bad. We do get downgraded in our harbor by 1 adjacency, but we could still do a mausoleum. And then we also have access to iron now, which is quite a big upgrade to the point where I would maybe consider not doing pearls and instead buy the iron and improve it. I think that's exactly what we're going to do. Like so. Because that's just the like this city lacks production, so getting that production is huge. There's Nazca. Now Nazca is a civ that could turn this terrible desert land into something workable. So Nazca is also a really, really nice find for me this game. Now I have 2 city-states that want me to trigger Eureka for construction. So the value of a watermill here in my build has just gone up. It's like doubled in terms of envoys, which makes it a way, way, way more viable option for me to pick up.
Set your course by the stars.
Celestial navigation is completed, so we can start placing our harbor in here. As much as I want to go for the temple in here, I think getting access to the mausoleum in Pearly Gates is just so important that I'm willing to slightly sacrifice in other areas to grab it. Also, I really like this new modification of the detailed map tax mod, where when you place something down on top of a tack, it automatically deletes the tack. This is like a really, really cool mechanic, because it's what you do almost every time you place something on a tack. And I really appreciate the mod creator making that change, at least making it an option. Okay, so here's our government plaza in Compromise. I really want the temple, because it's worth 4 culture and 8 faith. Like, that's a huge amount of faith and culture. But I also really want my ancestral hall because of the free builder when I settle a city. That's like an extra 66 production per settler. So I think I go temple and then ancestral hall, because it'll take me a while to save up for my next settler. I'm kind of mad that they got to this island before me. But that's just the reality of the situation when you're dealing with this. I'm going to pick up research around Pingala. I need a little bit of science and culture to keep me in the game. But that's going to be basically all of my early game points put into Pingala. And then the rest are probably going to go into Moksha. So I can have double promoted Yerevan missionaries to spread across the world.
Invincibility lies in the defense.
We have theology, we have defensive tactics. I think it would be okay for me to pick up recorded history for another governor title. I could grab Moksha. it would be okay. I think I also want to pick up feudalism here, so we'll start working on that. I need to come in here and I need to change charismatic leader to diplomatic league. Boom. I don't think I keep conscription in. Caravanseries is okay for me to plug in. None of these cards are really very good. I mean, Land Surveyors is quite good because it makes me be able to buy tiles a little bit cheaper, which will give me a little bit more flexibility when settling my cities. I could also plug in colonization and actually hard build cities later. But I think I'll just plug in Land Surveyors because I can do a little bit of tile purchasing if I want. And now I can put one envoy into Auckland. That'll get me 2 envoys, and then I put a second envoy into Auckland. That'll find me a bunch of new stuff. And actually give me viable tiles on the coast here. This is huge. This is like a massive swing for my empire. I'm tempted to pick up Liang and use my gold for builder purchasing in somewhere like Ali Meadows, which is relatively central in my empire. And I think that's what we're going to do. We're going to grab Liang, place her into Ali Meadows. I don't think I can afford to chop out my land this game because my land quality is just so low. But I'll start purchasing builders in here in 5 turns. So I think we just start settling these islands. Hello, Japan. We've met Japan off the back of making friends with Auckland. And we absolutely want to be friends with as many people as possible this game to try and keep them happy. And we also want to be selling as many resources to other players as possible too. Because it's pretty much the only way we're going to get back into the game is selling off our excess resources. So unfortunately, I don't have enough iron to sell. I can, however, sell open borders eventually. But finding Japan, he's in a really, really good position here. We're in a very bad position compared to them. We do have a few tribal villages that we need to consider picking up with our scout. I don't remember where I put my scout. There he is. So yeah, we definitely want to see if we can grab a few of these tribal villages just to get a little bit of value out of this scout. Neapolis is a newly settled city. What is the best way for me to get holy site adjacency value here from this area? It would probably involve late game woods stuff. Because woods get woods give value to these. So maybe like a triangle of holy sites surrounded by forest would be like the perfect case. And the best version of that is like holy site here, holy site here, holy site here, and then woods all around. I think it's not great, but it's something. And then this can be like wild card, I don't know. This is kind of what I'm thinking. I don't know if planting woods shows up with regards to adjacency, but something like this, I think, is probably the best way for me to get high faith in this area. You know? How much to rename a city? Just like a Prime sub or $2 or something like that. Like usually if the donation gets read out, I'll rename a city. I will figure this out. How are you able to stream to both platforms? I was just told that like it's usually fine to stream to both platforms. The other option I could do here is just to do a whole load of Kurgans around here. I don't know. It's hard to know exactly what we want to do. But I'm thinking some kind of configuration, at least with these guys in a triangle to help each other a little bit, would be ideal. I might just have to do Kurgan meta here. Thank you so much, Very Frosty, for the Twitch Prime. But yeah, I might just go full Kurgan, which is a rarity for me because I rarely go full Kurgan. I don't think national parks are very important for me. That's more of a tourism thing. I need things that give me faith. Petra. The problem is I like the idea of a Petra here. I mean, maybe if I were to settle here, if I were to settle right there, right, hear me out on this, Petra. If I were to settle right here, take these 3 tiles, and then try to build a Petra. I mean, I guess I could theoretically almost make that work. Great profit points convert to faith, and do they do anything else after you've gotten your profit? No, they pretty much just turn into faith, and then that's it. Jebel Barkal for faith. I would like to build a Jebel Barkal. I just don't know if I have the production or time to do it because it's one of those ones that the AI actually likes to build. And it's quite late now into the game. Like a lot of the AI are over here are already in like Renaissance era, and I'm only just now climbing my way into classical. So yeah. I don't know if the Jebel Barkal dream is going to become true. I wish I could pass through Nazca here, but I can't, so I'll have to go around.
No man ever wetted clay.
There's pottery at long last, which will be useful to get things like granaries in my cities. I don't know why Norway is mad that I'm like exploring near his territory. Actually, there's... Man, he like forward settled me hardcore here. Like he seriously did.
Oh, yeah.
We found Nan Madol. Nan Madol is huge this game if I could take control of them. Harold has control of them, which explains why his culture is so high. We got our temple in compromise, and now we're working on our ancestral hall, which should roughly line up with our next unit construction. We got our holy site in Chur Matalik. Let's go ahead and get to work on the shrine. Just tuned in. Why so slow? Which challenge is happening here? This isn't a challenge. This game is just going terrible. Let's just be real here. Let's call a spade, okay? This game is just going horribly. Hey, thank you so much, Nerda78 for the 10 gift subs. Holy crap. And 1,000 bits. Jesus. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, dude.
Potatoes. Boil 'em, mash 'em, stick 'em in a stew. Boil 'em, mash 'em, stick 'em in a stew.
So I think now I'm going to go into Ali Meadows here and start gold purchasing builders. Now that Liang is established, I can start sending builders out from the city in a sort of radial, you know, expansionist way. I'm tempted to buy a grand. I think buying builders is way more important though. But we will go for the shrine here. Shrine is worth culture and faith. It's culture and faith is how I get back into this game, and I think we can get back into the game. I don't think this game is hopeless yet. I think there is hope. You know, so just you know. That's not copium, okay? We should be huffing on hopium right now. It is potentially. Ah, okay. +1 era score, beautiful. We also have feudalism now. I'll definitely be plugging in serfdom. Probably should have waited on that builder purchase. Hey, listen, mistakes happen. It's not the end of the world. And I think I'm going to plug in charismatic leader here so I can get more envoy points. I really want my diplomatic quarter and the Petra here, so I'm kind of excited at the prospect of making that happen. Let's come over here to Kralex and buy some settlers. I think maintaining suzerainty of Auckland is probably the most important thing for me in this game, because of the production I'm going to be getting from my coastal tiles from them. Let's pick up recorded history for the governor title. And otherwise, we're just kind of like slowly chooching our way along. I would like to run through Norway's lands now. Let's send this settler here for the potential Petra City. We're going to gamble on a Petra City. Nazca is in the game. There's a whole bunch of cool things in the game. I'd like to get the mausoleum here. But what I'm going to do is I will get a slightly less optimal builder, because I would like to chop that tile first. So I'll spend a little bit of time building something random, like, I don't know, a temple feels like a good investment. Now, it's rare that I would go temple before my monument and granary, because like if you think about what the granary does here, it allows my city to grow. However, 8 faith per turn is just so huge.
7.90 Neopolis would be better off named as Neopets Ruffle.
Neopolis would be better off named as Neopets? Sure thing. There you go. Thank you for the 7. I have no idea what MYR is. Is that like Hungarian money? Magyar money? That's where my mind goes to with MYR. Yeah, it's rare that I go for a temple here before anything else. I do think food, my man. I really want all 3 of these buildings, but the order in which I get them kind of impacts my game a little bit. Like if I go for the temple first, it might mean that I squeeze out an extra settler, or builder or missionary in this era, right? So I think I just have to go for the faith-based things fast. And I'd also really like to pick up apprenticeship now for the +1 production from mines. That was pretty important to me. I am going to be starting to lay down a few mines here, just in key cities. Otherwise, it's going to be heavy on the Kurgan gameplay. We had really bad early holy sites, so I decided to take Divine Spark on my religion to give me a chance to have a religion of value this game. So I've got tons of amber spare to sell here, like 100 gold from Japan or 11 gold per turn. 11 gold per turn is crazy. I'll take 77 gold straight off of Norway too. This is why exploration is so important to me right now. I need to find the other players because I'm missing out on so much value because I'm not trading with people, which is why, for once, I'm so glad to see Tamar in my game. So Norway thinks my navy is too weak now. I might need to crack out an extra galley or two just to impress him. We'll send a delegation to Georgia.
Was just watching the Persia playlist and the videos are out of order. Video 4 and 5 should be switched.
Oh, thank you so much, Andres Michelini. I'll fix that now in a minute. I'll do mutual open borders with Georgia. And then I'll also see if she wants to buy any of my spare stuff. Like, looks like my iron is pretty high in value. Everybody wants iron. I wonder who's going to pay me the most. Looks like Matsumusa is offering the most for the iron. So I'll take Matsumusa's deal. Nobody wants horses, unfortunately. We do now have Ancestral Hall, so we are getting a free builder with every settler that we make. That's pretty big. My capital isn't anywhere near its growth potential. However, I do think picking up a watermill will complete a couple of envoy quests, in particular for construction. So I think building that watermill actually represents 2 free envoys across the map. Now, one thing I have to consider is, yeah, both of these are going to be my first envoy. So next turn, I'm going to go, actually right now, I'm going to go ahead and switch in the Diplomatic League card, because then this will actually be now worth 4 envoys rather than 2. It's just like carefully positioning yourself on the map with regards to that stuff is just important. Now, who actually made the religion of Eastern Orthodoxy? I don't know who it is, but it's a dominant religion in 20 cities. And my religion is slowly starting to spread to Norway. I'd like to help that along a little bit if I could, but I think for now we're totally fine. I'm happy with Liang just being a guild master. I could theoretically go to aquaculture here and make her city really, really powerful. The question is, am I actually going to be moving her over to Pearly Gates in a little while and doing like fishery spam in the city? It's totally viable. I can get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can get like 5 fisheries in range of this city. That's like an extra decent chunk of production. Lots of food, lots of housing. I could have a very, very powerful city here working all of these. Yeah, I think I will get her moved over there. So I think eventually I will be picking up aquaculture, but I also need to start thinking about Moksha. I don't have infinite, governor titles, and I should be really thinking about Amani as well in order to send her on a world tour and pick up some suzerainties if I could. I think it might be a little bit late for an Amani world tour. And I'll just go ahead and grab Moksha, because I can use Moksha to just drop him in Kralix to passively spread my religion a little bit up this way, because there is like a little bit, as far as I can tell, yeah, there's like a little bit of religion spread here, and I'd like my religion to overpower theirs. So I'll just use him essentially as a small faith token and religion spread token. Let's keep getting more amber. The more amber that we have, the more we can sell when we eventually meet more people. Like Tamar will buy amber for 10 gold per turn. It's huge. I hope this really illustrates... Ooh, Mount Rorama. There's more era score. I really hope that this game illustrates why it's so important to scout early and to pick up things that you can sell to the AI, like luxuries and strategic resources. I'm really hoping that that's teaching. Like, I have objectively the worst start of 2021 here, and this is the last game I'm going to play in 2021. And I'm still doing okay, thanks to selling things to the AI, just carrying my economy. We have Recorded History, which is another governor title. I don't think we need to start like hardcore spreading with Moksha until after this era, but I do think we need to start pushing up this direction. So I think I will pick up Grand Inquisitor. Let me have a think about where am I going to get my next governor titles. There's 1, 2. I need 3 governor titles for Moksha, essentially. There's 1, 2, and then 1 for my tier 2 government. So there's 3 in this era, and I need 3 for him. And I have 1 in the bank. So I can actually freely spend this on another person. This can be a freely spent one. So I could pick up aquaculture here if I wanted to, just to lock it in for later. You think the Japanese Eternal War game was worse? You could argue that that was worse, and I probably wouldn't hardcore disagree with you. I do want to pick up my alliances now. It would be good to get a religious alliance with someone like Norway so I can start trading with them, or potentially even the Malian Empire. Man, he started with like the god natural wonder as well. I'm really... God, this was like legendary start, and I got the least legendary start on the map. For real, dude. I'm going to harvest here to get that temple 4 turns sooner, and then we'll place the mausoleum on that tile. It will be a 37 turn temple. However, That's only if we don't actually like improve the production of the city, which we fully plan on doing. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and buy a granary in here because I need the city to grow just a smidge in order to justify working these hills that I'm going to improve with mines. Yeah, legendary start didn't mean legendary good. It meant legendary bad. True. I don't think I start playing fisheries in here. And I don't want to chop this jungle because it's literally the only production that exists in this city. Although then again, how much do I care about production in this city? Is it really ever going to have anything resembling a productive tile? Probably not ever. So maybe harvesting now and then closing my eyes and praying is my best move. Harvest, boom. And then we can get the start on the harbor. We place the harbor, but we're going to get the temple first. Hey, how's it going, Patchacutie? Patchacutie. So, meeting another player, again, super based, send a delegation, try to get a friendship, have positive relations, sell him things, buy mutual open borders to improve our relationship even more. Even, I'm willing to pay for open borders too. But just that the power of being friendly with somebody cannot be overstated. I need to improve more luxury resources to keep selling them. Nan Madol is now just a wall that I can't get past, which is kind of sad. I have kind of snuck past Norway. He's building the Great Lighthouse. It's unfortunate for me. I wouldn't have minded that. We're settling our Petra city. We could also settle over here if we wanted to be massive jerks and pick up 3 extra copies of Amber and potentially isolate Hamar. He also settled Hamar in literally... I think my goal this game is to get Hamar to flip independent and then to try to murder it when it's a free city state, so I can actually get 3 useful cities in here. Like, this is the worst. Like, there's actually room for 3 cities here, right? A city here. No, there's room for 2. Valletta kind of makes it a little bit too awkward. Turn 200 Petra. Well, what I'm going to do here in Pizirk is I'm going to go ahead and do a little bit of tile swapping to make this into an actual viable Petra run. I'll buy this tile from this city and buy this tile from this city and then place Petra across the water right there, because then potentially 3 cities could put theater squares next to it. You say Hamar wrong. How do you say Hamar then? Amar? 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 Is it Amar? I'm trying to think of like how a Norwegian might say it, like Amar. This is an 80 turn Petra, but look, right, this is the best we can achieve, right? We'll get that down when the city grows a little bit. I'll probably invest a little bit into the city too. Hamar. So like Hamar. Hamar. Not Hamar. 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 All right, listen, chat, you've gone too far now. Hamar. We do have access to silk down here, which I'm kind of excited about. But I need to get these mines online for Pearly Gates first. There's Ethiopia. You know what? Honestly, There's a part of me that's like, man, I spawned in a really terrible starting location. But there's also a part of me that really would have been unhappy if I'd spawned on these massive islands where there's like multiple players, because I would not have had a good time. Just say hammer. Let's declare friendships, get mutual open borders, all that great stuff with all these AI players. We want to be friendly with as many people as possible. We want to be as uninvolved in world conflict as we can. The only city that I really want to have killed is Hamar here. Hamar. I don't know how to say the city's name, but somebody's trolling me saying I'm saying it wrong. Hamar. Hamar. But I want Hamar to go, which might necessitate settling a one-tile island to put extra loyalty pressure on it. Although I think I'm too far away to actually put real pressure on this city, so I think I just give up on that dream. I could have horse rushed if I shared land. That's true, I could have horse rushed someone. But I think we're in a relatively okay position. All right, we're only 22 science, which is like 1/10 or 1/5 or 1/6 of what most people have. But that's still not terrible, because we don't care about science. We care about spreading our religion. And once we hit the Renaissance era, that's our goal. We'll start spreading. Now, talking about my capital, do I want to continue to grow my capital, or do I want to start spamming extra settlers out of this city? I think I would like an extra galley to figure out what's going on over here. Do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to crack out like 2 extra scouts, maybe an extra scout or something. Maybe 1 scout and a granary, to get the city growing and improving. There's apprenticeship boosts, so we will start seeing production dividends from that. I feel like if Kurgans gave like 1 food, 1 production, they'd actually be like the most broken tile improvement in the game. But the problem is they don't give food and production, so they're kind of trash on plains. Oh, here's how you make the Kurgan awesome. +1 production on grassland, +1 food on plains. Boom. The Kurgan is now the most viable tile improvement ever. It's just like the lack of food and production, like so tough to justify building it. In certain cases, you know, it's still good. It's really good now. That's the thing. We got our temple and pearly gates, and I think it's time we work on the mausoleum. It's a 50-turn mausoleum, but we are going to retool this city a little bit. So I'm going to be working pretty heavily on the production side of things, so that's going to only be a 30-turn build now. And I might even go ahead and buy myself a lighthouse in here to try and speed that up again. Because if I buy the lighthouse, I could work a lot of these coastal tiles a little bit more justifiably, and then I would grow into those production tiles, which would eventually speed up the whole thing. Like, I mean, there's the +4 era score. But I mean, look at this Kurgan. It's 1 food, 2 faith, 1 production, 3 gold. That's a pretty damn good tile, all things considered. I'm not going Magnus this game, but I am going to Locust a little bit. Religion is all about pumping in one direction and not worrying about the long-term consequences of, like, not improving your empire in any direction other than faith. So that's kind of our plan here, is to just crank out as much faith as humanly possible and kind of like ignore the consequences of our poor decision making. Let's start getting some more settlers. We will start getting free builders now. I wish I had a unit to explore up here to the north. I think it might be worth my while to get another scout, just so we can continue to find out land. Knowledge is power here for me in this game. I don't know if I'm going to go for monarchy, but I'm definitely rushing now for my tier 2 government in Reformed Church. I think I skip right past monarchy here this game. That's my best course of action. Honestly, monasteries provide just as much value as Kurgan's here. So monastery is a viable tile improvement. It's not bad here. But I think I'm going to put down a couple of mines to give the city production. There's Basel. We have met Byzantium. You're probably noticing a theme by now that pretty much every civ of this game has at least somewhat of a bias towards religion, with the exception of a couple of wildcard civs that I just kind of sloshed in, like Menelik. Or sorry, not Menelik, sorry, Pachacuti. Let's have a look at... We've got pearls for sale now, and pearls are not very high value in this universe, but they are selling. And that's good. That's gold per turn that's helping us. We unlocked apprenticeship. That's +1 production from our mines. That'll heavily help our mausoleum build. Let's double check our envoy status here. Construct a campus, recruit a great scientist, religious conversion, inspiration for military training. Probably won't get control of Nan Madol this game. It might be tough. I would really like to control them though. I'll go ahead and pick up construction to have access to lumber mills. There's a couple of tiles I would like to build lumber mills on. Compromise has finished its granary and it's ready for its 3rd district. There's an argument to be made for a few different districts here. I could go for the harbour, which would give me flexibility in terms of expanding my empire. I could go for the diplomatic quarter, which would give me lots of envoys and envoy production. I could go for the commercial hub. I could go for theater squares. I feel like the Diplo quarter makes a difference here for me this game. Thank you so much, Stel stuff. Stel stuff. Stel stuff. Yeah, in my opinion, I feel like the diplomatic quarter here makes a big difference to my game. It will give me a lot of envoy points. This is the best city to build it in. This is my only non-coastal city, so I don't need a harbor in this city. Whereas in my other coastal cities, I pretty much have to get a harbor. So I need to get up over here to Armagh as well, to do a little bit of exploration there. So I don't have plantation tech yet. Let's go ahead and do a 1-turn irrigation and then head for construction again. So chop out that temple, then go ahead and get to work on the granary monument. Could I potentially squeeze out a little bit of extra food here? Probably not. We're fine.
Thousands have lived without love.
There's irrigation that we were looking for. Perfect. And I can send this scout up here to the north to pick up that tribal village. Neopets. I just need to get as much faith churning as I can. In terms of trade routes, I'd like to maybe start trading internationally a little bit. Although there is something to be said to putting this in Berserk and trading with my capital to try to get this Petra a little bit quicker. Thank you so much, Samira Tau, for the for becoming a member. Appreciate it. There's Nalanda, potentially useful city-state. Persia game when? Didn't we just do one? Am I crazy?
When wasteful war shall statues overturn.
Masonry is not an important tech for me. I mean, it does allow me to harvest stone, which is like a slight upgrade to my empire. Man, which tile do I want to settle this city on? None of these tiles are amazing. I guess this tile here is fine. I mean, if I move one tile to the left, I get a slightly better harbor. So we'll trade with compromise, which will allow the city to grow. We're going to go ahead and grab ourselves... I mean, this water tile is fine, so we'll leave that water tile to be what it's working on. And it'll grow in 5 turns. So down to 45 turns on that Petra. Is slow and steady wins the race, boys, okay? That's what I'm telling you. I've never had such a trash empire in my entire life, okay? I'm trying to be upbeat here. I'm trying to be happy. But let me tell you, this empire is horrendous. Okay, but hear me out, Persia. Listen, dude, you need to calm down, okay? This is actually a horrendous game. Genuinely horrendous. Like, look, what is this? What is this empire? It's actually awful. It's not even thick. There is some island potential here. Even Mali laughed at you. I know, right? And he's normally kind of a nice guy. I do like that we're up to nearly 100 faith per turn. That bodes well for the rest of the game. Excuse me, Norway. Where do you think you're taking that settler? Is he like running past my empire to a city I can't see and yoinking it from under my eyes? I can't let it happen. This settler is literally running down mid to try and beat me out to somewhere, and I don't like it. I'm not a fan. And I can't even tell where he's going, which like makes it even scarier. Because he could be going to some like the promised land. I will never know. The medieval era ends in 10 turns, which is fine. I am going to pick up my consulate because this actually represents a good chunk of faith income in my empire. And then we'll probably look into starting to build, like do a round of settler building in a few cities. I'm sitting on one envoy. I have the double envoy card plugged in. So I could start making friends with, you know, Jerusalem here. Jerusalem is a great city to get suzerain of, so I'll start working on that one. I'm actually able to like explore with my builders far better than I am with like my actual scouts because they have the extra movement from monumentality. I don't think I'm going to secure myself another golden age, unfortunately. But I will be able to get out another 2 monumentality settlers, which does feel pretty good. Plus 10 combat strength for all units of this religion. Who has the most Diplo favor? Unfortunately, I think I just have to pick another person's religion who I'm not going to come into conflict with for a while. So I'm just going to go ahead and pick Buddhism because Japan has a good amount of Diplo favor. And then I'll choose ranged, because people tend to choose ranged. So Buddhism and ranged pass, that's another 2 diplomatic victory points. Hey, backup victory condition if we if we need it. Unfortunately, monasteries can't be built next to each other, I'm pretty sure. But I can still throw down like kurgans and stuff. Let's keep on buying those builders. It's pretty damn good value for money to be able to get that many. I don't care about my galleys anymore, or my exploring units. I'm going to stop micromanaging them. At this point, I've met like the majority of the civs on the map, and any more micromanaging isn't going to like get me that much more. One thing though that I could potentially do here is get an alliance with somebody. And who do I want to get an alliance with? I think if I'm going to get an alliance with someone, I think it's Norway. Norway has been a bro for me this entire game, with the exception of this whole like forward settling me thing that he's about to do. God, I really want this land. I'm so land hungry at the moment. He settled such a terrible city here in Hamara. And yes, I'm going to continue to say it wrong to make you guys mad. What's my next step this game? I think... I don't know. It's a tough one. It's a tough one. I think technologically I don't care about anything anymore. Once this era is over, it's settlers and faith and missionaries and stuff like that. To try and convert the entire world to my religion. Norway can cross oceans before I can, and he also has the Great Lighthouse. What I might be able to do is like figure out what tile he wants to settle on and to block him. That might be my only real way to like slow him down here. Why would you stand there? Of course. So I would like to win that aid request if I could, because the diplomatic victory backup here should always be respected. Like the stopping of the swordsman here, Yerevan, is just really... Do I levy Yerevan so that I can move my settler 1 extra tile? Am I that petty? Yes, I am that petty.
HUF 2000 I potato. Love your content. Can you rename a city Ralsis and Sipafuso? THX.
I don't know, but that looks like it's going to crash my game. Yeah, I am petty enough to levy a city-state just so I can move my settler 1 more turn in a race to settle an island. I am that petty, okay? And I'll admit that I'm that petty. There you go. This was somebody asked me to donate for this name, and it's unpronounceable, but I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Let's start leveling Moksha. It's important for me now to get access to Patron Saint. Yeah, so we're only going to get 1 city on this island. But that's okay. Let's come over to Kralix and place our harbour. It's a +3 harbour. Not the greatest harbour, but not the worst. And we'll also go ahead and purchase ourselves a settler here. Do I want to settle north or do I want to settle east? I think trying to compete for these settles to the east is actually the right move. So I guess I'll come into compromise again and buy another settler here, even though that does hurt my empire's yields quite a bit. We have our harbour placed in Ali Meadows. I would like to get the Granary Monument. I think it's time that Liang was now moved. I guess I could theoretically buy one more builder out of there and then move her. But she's going to go ahead and get reassigned to Pearly Gates. Thinking about this city and how I make value out of it. There's really not a lot this city can do short term. So I think getting a granary might be like the path to redemption here. Honestly, the path to redemption is through a harbour to be able to work these coastal tiles. Hey, we have a man-at-arms as well. We definitely don't want to harvest anything that gives me pastures here. Do you ever build fisheries with Liang and then move her around? No, I don't think that's worth doing, in my opinion. I really don't think it's good enough. It doesn't give you enough of an advantage. But there's access to monarchy. We could go for the Kotoku in this game. That is a 20% faith buff across my empire. I don't think we're going to go for monarchy, though. I think we just leave that the way it is. Thank you so much, Mr. Heaven, for the subscription there. I think I missed someone's donation earlier, and I'm sorry if I did. Yeah, I think we'll stay off monarchy as much as we... Well, I mean, those influence points are actually really damn good. I really want to stay away from monarchy, but 50% influence buff is pretty good. This is more of a culture victory save. This is your faith. You want to get the theocracy, I think. I think we just have to go theocracy here. I don't think... If we're going for a religious victory... Well, I'm devastated. He actually got here first, and I have a cliff in my way. So, unless I can figure out exactly which tile he wants to settle, I think he beats me to this island. Yeah, he just beats me. He's a turn ahead. Maybe if I can stand on both cattles, maybe I'll force him into a suboptimal direction. We'll see. Did he ever finish that? He finished the lighthouse, so he might actually be able to get onto land this turn. And I might not be able to prevent his settle on this cattle here. Devastating. I wish it would tell me where it wants me to settle this city, because then I could predict. We got our temple in.
And 0 pennies come on PPL. Bond that like button now.
Thank you so much, Abracadabra, for the £2. Kralix has a temple now, and I think a harbour would be okay. It wouldn't be bad to get a granary, but I think the harbour is actually just better for coastal cities.
PotatoMcSweaty, Potato 78, PotatoMcSweaty.
Thank you so much, Spreadlake. Oh, where did he go? He's not going to this island at all. Hey, wait, he went back? That's big. That's big for me if he goes back. Okay, so am I going for a double settle on this island, or am I going for a single settle? I could settle on the iron. I think I settle on the iron. Yeah, I settle on the iron, I think. I could put 2 cities here, but I think at this stage of the game, I just need to claim as much land as I can and use these kind of cities as way stops for my useful missionaries and stuff. I can't believe Norway turned around. I'm so happy. Also, my faith is just cranking, dude. I'm very happy. So I think our major goal now is to just get through this era as simply as possible. Get up into the next era. Get our harbors. Get our economy up. Get into Reformed Church. Evangelize our religion. Get our tier 3 holy site buildings up. Get our level 3 relationship with each faith-based city-state up. And then see if we can't, make a religious play happen on the map. But what we're trying to do is build like an overwhelming economy. We did get our consulate in our capital. Do I want to start just cranking out settlers here from this city? I think I do. I'm not going to be able to buy more now in the near future. So cranking out a few extra settlers will make my empire much better.
An OK 50.00 cheers for all the content I've been lurking with for a long time. About time I got to see you live.
Thank you so much, Mr. Heaven, for the 50 Norwegian kroners. And I hope you were seeing me live all the time, but I guess maybe it's time you saw me live. I don't know why, that one always makes me laugh. Like, I'm glad I got to see you live, and I'm like, was I under threat? Right, what have we got to sell here? Looks like somebody wants to buy pearls. 200 gold for pearls, that's perfect. That means I can actually come in here and buy the lighthouse and actually start growing the city. Boom, boom. I think I'm going to grow this city. It will significantly slow down the mausoleum, but the city will grow at like an insane rate now.
I checked, and the game accepts it.
Sure thing, I'll rename a city. Censored name, there you go. Very obnoxious, incredibly obnoxious name, but thank you. Call it star. No, asterisk. Do UI mods disable achievements? I'm pretty sure no mods disable achievements. Am I crazy? Do mods in Civ actually even disable achievements? I don't think they do. You might be thinking of Paradox games that do that. Paradox games, I know if you install like basically any mod that like even slightly changes the gameplay, it'll disable memes. Right, we're on the last 2 turns of this era. I'll go ahead and faith purchase my last settler, and then next turn I'll be able to faith purchase a builder. Although maybe I'd be better off just getting like a couple of missionaries real quick. I should probably have like a command to send you guys a link to my UI mods. It's a mistake not to have that command. It's something we'll figure out over time. Boom boom. So 7 brothers. This city's going to build a holy site and then a ton. And I mean a ton of Kurgans. So let's just like place a holy site somewhere innocuous, like right there. 45 build time on that one. That's why I'm saying these late settled cities, they're not going to be as useful for actually winning the game, but they will help to some extent. Like in a certain world, it's actually optimal for me to just start spamming holy site prayers, but I think it's kind of satisfying building up a big useful empire with actual like good tile yields and stuff like that. So let's come into their capital and we'll just yoink ourselves take that horse tile right there. We're down to 20 turns. Well, it says 24 here, but it's 20 down here. 20 turns on our Petra and 26 turns on the mausoleum. Let's get a missionary. Be a pretty good missionary. It's going to have, I think, like 5 or 6 charges. Yeah, 5 charges on that missionary will let me spread my religion to these newly settled cities. I think we get that harbor up. Harbor. We're sitting on an envoy. I think we take suzerainty of Jerusalem. That gives me very, very robust stuff. So like I was saying, our goal now is to save as much faith as possible to get our religion evangelized, get Reformed Church online, get Moksha to level to where he's making level 2 apostles, which will require us to get medieval fairs and build our government plaza building. Once we're there, that's when we can like we've sort of built the engine, and then we activate the engine to actually take on the AI. So we're in the building phase right now, and we're actually quite close to flipping the switch. Got 20 Diplo favor out of that. That's not like ideal. Another tribal village. I am finding even more land over here. So man, we were super unfortunate with our spawn. But here's the thing: there's nothing that monumentality and and a religion can't like settle you out of. You just settle enough cities and you get out. All right, cool. So we're in a new era. We didn't get a golden age. That's unfortunate. We do have Reformed Church though. So one part of the trifecta that we're going to activate next episode is ready. I love you all very much, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye. All right, that is that episode recorded. I totally forgot to pick up this. I'll go ahead and grab that. Whew. All right, we are not done. I'm just going to take like a 2-minute break, take a pee-pee, get a drink, and then we'll do one more. Stream over. See you guys. No. It's not over. We'll do another maybe hour. You gotta go pet the rabbit? I do go to pet the rabbit. This is the in-between time between actually recording, where you guys can like ask me questions about the game or about life in general. The map is pretty bad. Yeah, this is an absolutely horrific map. Like, Jesus. The one saving grace I have is I'm actually making the most faith per turn on the map, I think. Yeah, just barely the most faith per turn. And that'll turn around once I have my tier 3 buildings and level 3 relationships with all these city-states. Is D&D on tonight? No, unfortunately, D&D won't be back until potentially after the 7th of January. It all really depends on how people's like January holiday time works out. Do you have a tutorial of how to build a religion? Probably not, but I should do one. What do a heroic age do? A heroic age lets you pick 3 beliefs. Can you do your most Irish accent? It really depends, because there's about 1 billion different Irish accents, depending on which, part of the country you're trying to emulate. So doing an Irish accent is a bit like saying doing an American accent. Like, which city do you want me to do? Do you want me to do Minnesota? Do you want me to do Chicago? Do you want me to do Boston? Do you want me to do New York? And then do you want me to do like upstate New York, or do you want me to do New York City? Do you want me to do the Bronx? Do you want me? You get where I'm coming from. Do you plan more co-streams with Michael in the new year? Yeah, I would love to do more co-streams with Michael in the new year. That's something I'd like to do, that like maybe once every week or two. That would be perfect for me. Tutorial on building a religion, claim a deity, grab some rules, pray, repeat. True. What's your favorite story in Dubliners? I never actually read Dubliners, believe it or not. An Irish Minnesotan accent. Hello, Galios. What made you want to play a religious Scythia? We were kind of sitting around, and I wanted to do a religion game because I haven't done a religion game in a very long time. And I wanted to do a religion game where I played a civ that isn't typically known for being a religious civ. And Scythia, Aminator, all these kind of civs, we did like a poll. We started streaming on Twitch early, so that because that's the beauty. If you follow on Twitch, you get to be part of like the decision making. I always start on Twitch early, and then we we run all our decision making through Twitch on pre-stream, and they voted for Scythia out of the 5 options that we had. When is the Nuzlocke coming back? I can't give you a hard date, but it's going to be like in the not too distant future, like a few days from now. Like I'm running out of pre-recorded Civ videos, so I needed like a little bit of save recording. So I was like, I'll do a religion game, and I'll do a weird religion game. Rahulios. I don't know how to say it. Galiosh. Galiosh. I don't remember already. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go AFK for like 2-3 minutes, and then we'll play some more. All right, we are back. Sorry about that, boys and girls. Shh, it's okay. Shh. Very loud, very loud. All right, we love you all. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Let's get started. I gotta go make my dinner. Hey, Spuddies, PotatoMcWhiskey here, and welcome back to Let's Play Civilization 6 as Scythia, where we're going for our religion game, and things have been going pretty terribly. We spawned in what is arguably the worst location on the entire map, but we made the best of a bad situation. We got out our early religion, and then we managed to get a few extra cities. Nothing crazy, just like a few extra cities, and we're going to try and get out a few more as well. We're potentially, we're going to get the mausoleum, we're going to get the Petra. We're trying to make the best of a bad situation, and it's not going too badly. Our faith per turn is really disgusting, actually. Consider one of the things you have to consider is that on Deity, I'm pretty sure that the AI gets an 80% faith production boost, and we are actually producing more faith than any other Deity AI in the game right now. So again, that has come at a price. All right, our science is absolutely terrible, and we will lose any war that gets declared on me. However, I have been carefully trying to play the diplomacy game and keep everyone happy with me, so that I don't ever have to end up in war. So we're, I would say that we're in a relatively strong position for achieving our goal. We are going to be picking up Exodus of the Evangelists this era, because our current goal is to sort of turn on the engine, okay? We have spent basically the majority of our time now constructing the engine with which we will win the game, right? We've settled a bunch of cities, we built a bunch of holy sites, we explored the world to find all the city-states, and now it's time to turn that engine on. And one key part of turning that engine on is picking up the government theocracy. Theocracy is a big part of the engine because it gives us access to some very, very important abilities. The first one being the extra religious combat strength, which stacks with Scythia's ability to do extra damage against wounded religious units, as well as the little bit of extra faith gain. And the most important bit is the 15% discount on purchases with faith. So this is sort of like the first cylinder of the engine firing, if you will. The next cylinder of the engine will follow directly behind this one as a consequence of that cheaper that cheaper faith production. That's going to be buying 2 apostles to evangelize their religion, and that's like the second part of the engine activating. And then the third part of the engine activating is getting once we evangelize our religion, is getting our tier 3 worship building that everywhere. And then the final part of the engine is getting every single one of these religious city-states up to a level 3 relationship so that we can crank out an insane amount of faith. And then the engine is like fully built cranking. We spam as many apostles, missionaries, and gurus as possible. Although I would argue at Scythia, you just want to pump apostles. And we want to maintain suzerainty of Yerevan. Oh, sorry, the final piece of the engine. The very, very final piece of the engine is getting Moksha up to Patron Saint, but that should be relatively trivial. So that is like the huge, massive combo that we're going for here. Hopefully that explains why I've made the decisions that I've made. Realistically, at this stage of the game, now that we have assembled all the parts for turning on the win the game through religion engine, I could actually just scroll to the end of the tech tree and click here, because science is now essentially irrelevant. We are so far behind on science that we're never going to win a war. Nothing unlocks from the science tree that actually helps me this game, with the exception of maybe small little buffs like stirrups, industrialization. Like none of the, I'm never building any of this. Okay, I've completely geared my empire towards one thing, and that's generating as much faith as humanly possible. So this is essentially like an all-in strategy. This is like, if I was playing StarCraft 2, I would have actually like deleted my home base the second I had enough minerals, and then dropped my hive in like the enemy city. Like that is the level of all in that we are right now. There is no getting back. The only maybe small things that might be useful here is like going or like we 6-pooled someone, right? We're doing the equivalent of a 6-pool. Maybe a shipyard could be useful here. Shipyards could be useful. Cartography for gold could be useful. Things like stirrups for the extra food on pastures could be useful. Unlocking niter could be useful because that's more stuff we can sell to the AI. Unlocking coal, same reason. Food from plantations. Like there's small little buffs here in the science tree, but realistically, I could click here and have essentially the equivalent experience. But I'm not going to do that. I am going to do slight optimizations. I do want to pick up stirrups. I do want to pick up military engineering for that niter, and I think I'll have those 2 techs be that, because that's like 15 turns of decisions I've just made there for technology. I'm going to start swapping tiles to the pearly gates now, because this city is going to be my coastal powerhouse. It's going to have mausoleum. It's going to be generating an insane amount of resources. In fact, it's already going to grow like insanely huge off the back of these 2 fisheries. It's kind of ridiculous, to be honest. But 15 turns until that mausoleum. I'm excited at that prospect. That'll make a big difference to my game, for sure. And I need to also start thinking about builders, specifically in reference to improving my tiles, right? With regards to generating faith. Again, faith does 2 things. It lets you spread your religion, and it lets you do some tourism things. We're not doing tourism this game, so we are literally all in. I have mined 0 gas this game. And I am still building Zerglings on 3 bases, even though it's minute 30 of the game. But yeah, we are down bad. We're in deep, and we are looking for a way out. Boom, nice. There's 20 iron. That is actually quite nice because people do buy iron. So Japan will give me 28 gold per turn. I will be taking that gold per turn. I like taking gold per turn because the game will last a little bit longer. So getting long-term value as much as possible. Also, the amount of trading that I've done this game to try and get myself to this position is insane. There is the apostle that we plan to use to evangelize. We'll get our first evangelize off. Boom. And I'll be able to buy my next apostle next turn. So in terms of beliefs, let's have a look at some of these other religions that have been founded. We've got Buddhism over here. This was the first religion that was founded. It went for feed the world and meeting houses. These are not bad beliefs. These are the kind of beliefs that I might have taken this game, actually, because it would have really helped secure me long term. But hey, we ended up with pretty good beliefs all the same. Warrior monks on Eastern Orthodoxy. Yeah, I don't think this isn't a very good religion. World Wonder Faith. Synagogues are okay. Papal Primacy is pretty good. I might have taken that this game. Defender of the Faith, pretty strong. Defender of the Faith would have been really good for us to be able to survive if it was like a multiplayer game and I was trying to do some kind of goofy play. But yeah, I don't think any of the beliefs that have been taken are really of consequence to me. The ones that are sort of appealing to me here are things like pilgrimage. +2 faith for each following the city. For +2 faith for each city following this religion. That is a way to extend the power of our faith engine. It means the more that we convert, the more faith that we start to generate back. So I definitely, in my mind, I'm definitely feeling like it's the type of... Now, if I wanted to try to get back into the game, I would go for cross-cultural dialogue. And then spread my religion, because that would give me the signs that I could get back into the game and win, through another victory type. But we're going all in on the faith game, so I'm going to go ahead and pick up pilgrimage. So that means every time I convert a city now, I should be getting an extra 2 faith per turn, which is not a huge amount in the grand scheme of things, but every little chunk of faith that you can squeeze out makes a big difference. In like over the course of 10, 20 turns. It's like an extra. When you consider, like, individually, each one won't make a big difference, but the collective amount of faith that I'll be generating from it will make a difference over the course of a game. That's basically the gist of what I'm trying to say. So one of the other things that we've been really, really unlucky with this game is that we had basically zero, and I mean zero, ability to chop this game. Like, I could have lived with this bad land, but I had like 3 forests in my entire empire. So I haven't even been able to do like a recovery locust game. I've just been kind of chopping now at this stage of the game because I want to place down tile improvements that aren't lumber mills. I am very happy with Pearly Gates. Now, that is a strong city. If I can get the Petra, if I can get the small things like that, I will have an empire worth talking about. My worry is here that somebody has been like secretly building the Petra this entire time. But I mean, there is only one result on the map when I use the map search. So the potential for me to get Petra and Mausoleum, which is kind of like, I really do feel like Petra and Mausoleum, oh my god, potato. You should, like, you're doing completely new strategies, right? There should be some kind of meme like that, because literally every game that I play, I go for the Petra and the Mausoleum. Like, every single game. I don't think there... Can you guys remember a game that I've played where I didn't go for Petra Mausoleum? Like, it's been a while. Medieval Fairs, there's Merchant Confederation. I think I would like to plug in Merchant Confederation once I have all my envoys with these religious city-states plugged in. But for now, it's fine. Listen, I'm not trolling you guys with the meteor. I just keep forgetting to actually pick it up. Moksha, almost activated. Moksha's almonds are like 98% activated, okay? They're almost there. I do want to pick up civil service here because the Chancery will generate me a ton of influence per turn, which will allow me to control more city-states. And by controlling those city-states, the Chancery will also actually generate me faith. So picking up diplomatic service here is quite useful.
£5 and 0 pennies. Hey potato, hope you had a great Christmas. Please could you call a city bird's eye potato waffles for me? No real reason except it will be fun.
Sure thing. Oh. Seven Brothers. Did I rename that for someone?
Potatoes. Boil 'em, mash 'em, stick 'em in a stew. Boil 'em, mash 'em, stick 'em in a stew.
Thank you so much for the Twitch Prime, Samarabi. Yes, military tradition does count for religious units. I will have to research that. Don't pick up the meteor. I want to wait. So I was going to pick up this meteor, but I actually want to wait until I have stirrups researched, so I get the knight for free, which will trigger the mission for me without having to upgrade a chariot. Oh, right, I meant to recruit an apostle. Oh, God. I accidentally ended my turn twice without doing it. Okay, there's the apostle we need. Engine is starting to activate. Our almonds are almost there.
Few inventions have been so.
There's the final apostle. Let's go ahead and evangelize our belief. Which of these buildings do we want to take? That is the real question here. Pagodas would give me a lot of things that I could sell to the AI and it potentially allow me to control the World Congress for a backup diplomatic victory.
When will we get that score victory game that you promised /S?
Thank you so much, Halsey. I will never do a score victory, okay? Maybe for charity. Stupas would potentially just increase the yields across my empire. Gurdwaras are good for growing. Mosques, I feel like, are probably my best bet if I'm going to go for a religion victory. +1 spread is an incredible boost to your efficiency. To the point where now that I've spotted the mosque is still available, that like literally nothing else becomes like a viable pick. And this is pretty much what my religion looks like. I would say 90% of the time when I'm going for a religion victory, I'll take Holy Order, Pilgrimage, and Mosque, and then whatever's up here just basically depends on the situation of the game, and then my Pantheon will look slightly different too. But to put that in perspective, +1 spread on religious units is, I think, a 50% increase for missionaries, or like a 33%. It's a huge percentage increase in the efficiency of how much faith you put in. And then you add to the fact that my missionaries and apostles are cheaper to buy anyway. It's too much efficiency to pass up. So we have knights, we pick this up, we get the free military unit in the form of the knight, which also completes the mission with Chinguetti. Thank you so much, Fluffy Boy, for the Twitch Prem. Appreciate you. We're at exactly 420 subs, so I'd like to see some blazits in chat. Oh, Beartar continuing a gift sub that they got from a Q Pupper. I appreciate you. Are barbarians disabled? Yes, we disabled barbarians this game. Let's go ahead and settle a city here on this 4 food tile. That'll allow the city to grow quite rapidly, in fact. I'm also going to go ahead and place a holy site on this hill, I think. Yes, I'm going to place the holy site on the hill. I know that sounds like blasphemy, but it is what we are going to do. I'm amazed that I'm holding Suzerainty of Auckland on a coastal map with only 3 envoys in them. I haven't been Auckland taxed at all this game, and I'm super happy about it. In terms of where do I settle over here, they're really, man, the land quality here is just so low. I do want to pick up that Mercury at the very least. That has some value to me. Hey, thank you so much for the 100 biddies. So over in Neopets, we could start building mosques. However, I don't think mosques hold a huge amount of value for me right now, at least not until I have like some level 6 envoys in some of these city-states. However, preemptively building them isn't bad, but I do think I could go for something like a granary monument first and then go for my mosque. Like, pick up these buildings that like backfill. No, I'm basically backfilling at this point. But I can also get a little bit of converting going on over here, which I'm happy about. There is some potentially good land over here, and I have 1,000 faith in the bank. But we don't have Moksha level 2 yet. So I don't think the 1,000 faith in the bank needs to be used for anything just yet. I mean, in theory, I could just get a few missionaries and send them out. Just a few cheap prospective missionaries until my engine is fully activated. Like, these are 4-charge missionaries, so they're pretty good.
£5 and 0 pennies. Love the streams, bud.
Thank you so much, Sam Walker. I appreciate you. I could also purchase an apostle to launch an inquisition. But launching an inquisition is more a defensive move or something you do for era score, which I don't think I need. I do have an era score tracker that I could have a look at. Let's see, favored. Let's see, first aerodrome. Is there a way for me to see? I don't remember how much it's worth. I can't tell. But we have some potential here. I think it's worth about 3 era score. At least that's what my chat tells me. If we're looking at the city of Asterix here, I do feel like I could use a little bit of money to like speed the city along. Like if I grab that watermill, that's +1 production. If I purchase the granary, that's +1 food. The city will grow now. And then I'm going to pick up a 5 adjacency harbor here. But I reckon I want my monument and temple first. Possibly even temple before monument, because that's worth 4 culture, whereas the monument's only 2. But spending a little bit of gold on some of my cities is totally a viable thing for me to do. My best bet here, I think, is to sneak over to Norway with these missionaries and just give them a little bit of a convert. Another key technology for me here is actually going to be cartography for the ability to embark. Otherwise, I think the majority of my gold now is going to go towards buying settlers to continue to expand. Maybe that's not a good idea. Let's go ahead and sell off all our amber. That's another 33 gold per turn for selling amber. I don't know. Maybe I use my gold on developing my empire. That might be the right move, honestly. The faster I develop my empire, the faster I win the game. Is there ever a time where a harbor / commercial hub isn't a good second district? Pretty much never. It's always a good idea to get a harbor or a commercial hub as one of your districts. Maybe if you're playing in a multiplayer game and you have someone else go harbor or commercial hub first and they feed you. Ooh, Basil has converted Rostavi to Shinto. We must eradicate this new faith. I'm going to go ahead and add this proposal. It would be kind of nice if if Basil had a little bit of heat on him. At the very least, I wouldn't hate it. I'd love to get suzerainty of Nazca, but getting suzerainty of some of these city-states is going to be very, very difficult this game. Let's have a look at see what luxuries are available. There are 3 luxuries here, actually. Yoink, yoink, yoink. So I just picked up 12 amenities, 16 amenities from trade there. For very, very cheap. The quick deals mod is incredible, but those 12 amenities will serve me very, very well. The Nightbot list isn't yet updated for my new UI mods. It'll get updated in the near future. So if you just hold on, I'll get back to you on that one. We got some era score for settling for the first time on these new areas. The problem is a lot of my cities are all on the same continent, so I'm not even able to get value out of colonialism this game. Like pretty much all my cities are on the one continent. This is actually my first non-capital continent city here. For these newer cities, it might be better for me to go harbor first. I know that sounds a bit odd, but that'll actually develop these cities into something meaningful faster than it would if I were to do anything else. This is the shuffle map type where things can be very, very random. There's diplomatic service, so we could potentially start doing spy stuff now, and we have access to the Chancery too. The Chancery will almost certainly be built after the Grandmaster's Chapel. The Chancery gives you +3 influence points per turn. To put that in perspective, I'm getting 7 right now, so that's a huge boost to the influence per turn that I get per turn. That will try to say that 5 times fast. Basically, it'll bring it down from about, 22 turns? Like 11 turns per envoy down to 7.5 turns per envoy. It's a huge speed boost for envoy production, so the Chancery is good. In fact, the Chancery is buyable. For 1,000 gold, you should probably buy that if you can save up for it. Now, my question is now whether or not I have enough harbors built, placed, and or under construction to make some changes to my government. In particular, get rid of conscription and instead maybe start thinking about plugging in. Oh, I haven't actually researched each of these. I need to research veterancy for harbor production and naval infrastructure for harbor district adjacency bonuses. I think getting both of those online now are going to be a key part of advancing in this game. So I have a huge stack of faith built up, which is going to be amazing to expend it all. Fat stacks of faith, dude. How do you know when a building is worth buying? That's a tough one. Usually you know a building is worth buying when it provides you some kind of unique value. that you can't get with gold otherwise. So, for example, if we talk about, usually it's a building that gives you a lot of surplus value that you, how do I, so things like the diplomatic quarter buildings, envoy points, it's the only way to get envoy points. So it's worth buying them, right? Because you get that a few turns earlier. That's just envoy points that you cannot get back in the game. Similarly, things like power plants. Similarly, things like factories and power plants. Because you're only going to be... here's how you know. Here's how you know when to buy a building, okay? The definitive explanation. You know that you want to buy a building either when you're going to be building a very small number of those buildings, or you're going to be building a lot of those buildings and they give you huge value. Also, mausoleum, poggers, very pog. +1 science, +1 faith, +1 culture on all coast tiles, as well as the double engineer thing. We don't care so much about the double engineer thing, but this Giga City now intrigues me. Now that is a thumbnail right there, baby. One thing I will thank the Civilization developers for is they made a game that had like incredibly easy to make thumbnails for. Like just look at, all I got to do is like position my camera like here, and boom, we got ourselves a thumbnail. You know what I'm saying? Like look at that, look at that. In fact, I'm gonna go a step further. I know I just spent all my gold, but it was worth it. I'm not even going to use this as my... I'm not even going to use this as my thumbnail until I get all those tiles improved. I know I was saving up for this building to buy. I know I was. I don't care. Right, we're pogging out. How do you remove the pins? When you're using the detailed map tack mod, you can Shift A to place pins, and then Shift D to delete pins. And also you have a setting that you can set in the mod. I don't remember how to do it. But if you place a building on top of where a pin is and it's of the same thing, it'll automatically delete the pin for you. So that's helpful. I don't actually think I need a third district in this city. If I was going to go for a third district, maybe like an entertainment complex or something. But otherwise, I don't. I think I have the 2 districts that I care about this game. Holy Sites and Harbors. That's it. Now that I have those, I just build the stuff in them, and then we're good to go. Let's sell off a little bit of Diplo favor here to pick up a little bit more gold. There we go. I need just a scooch more gold to be able to buy the Chancery that I wanted to. God, everyone is broke. Well, I'm really, really close. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll buy a builder, and then I'll look into doing some Chancery stuff. They added an auto delete. Yeah, dude, the developer of he must have I feel like he watched my game or something, because I'm pretty sure I complained about that once. I was like, man, I wish they would just delete when you place things on them, or maybe it was like I don't know where he got it from, but even if he didn't get it from me, he was speaking directly to me. The developer of this detailed map tax mod literally lives in my walls, dude, because he was able to know exactly how to update that mod to my desires. It was insane. Like how on point that change is. The fact that the pins will auto delete themselves when you place a building down on top of them. Actual god tier. You could swap some tiles for a better thumbnail. We will. Don't you worry. Don't you worry. But we gotta build the fisheries first. You know what I'm saying? It's like, little did people know that I'm actually not very good at the game. What I did though is I acquired a very particular set of skills that is almost entirely based around building really good thumbnails for Civ videos. We are sitting on 2 envoys. We have the Diplomatic League card plugged in, so we could potentially get good value on Vatican City here. If I pump twice into Vatican, I will get +2 faith on every temple and consulate, which will be a nice boost, like 22 faith per turn, so I think I will grab that. That's like the last time I'm going to get value out of this card, so I will now plug it out in exchange for the I'd love to plug in Merchant and Fed card, but I wanted to plug in the charismatic leader here. Colonization will happen. In fact, we should probably colonize out of the city of Pearly Gates. Also, just take a moment to appreciate just how much god tier food and production is in this city. It's so good. I need to renew my friendships with some of the people on the map. There's technology we don't care about. We don't care. A lot of the things. The one thing about the Religion of Victory that I'm not a huge fan of is that a lot of the things in the game, once you have like activated your religious almonds, you don't care about a lot of the stuff that happens. Like, for example, I don't really care about my tech tree anymore. I don't really care about my culture tree anymore. All I care about is spreading my religion and getting as much spread as possible. Like, I kind of wish that religion and... I feel like... Here's my take. Are you guys ready? I feel like what they need to do is... Religion is really well integrated into military stuff because of Crusade, and military spreading, and Defender of the Faith, all that sort of stuff. It's hooked in well to military stuff. It would be kind of cool to have maybe a little bit more of a hook on the military side of things, like Casus Belli, enforce religion, where when you attack someone with this Casus Belli, killing their units causes like a faith bomb, kind of like Basil. And it's kind of saying like, rather than like I'm not here to conquer, I'm like, maybe I'll take a city or two, but I'm really here to convert. That would make the game a little bit more interesting. I think maybe like late game buildings like the broadcast center should increase religious pressure if you have like a particular card plugged in. Trade route religious pressure should scale with the number of trade buildings you have. So it should be like 1 for basic, and then it should get slightly stronger once you have the lighthouse, another little bit stronger, so like +1 and then +2 and then seaports. You could make it interact a little bit more with the culture and tech stuff. I think that would be kind of cool. I think it interacts well with the diplomatic congress in the game. The only things I don't think it interacts well is really with science and a little bit of the late game cultural stuff. But otherwise, I think it's pretty well integrated. It's integrated about as well as you can make it. Let's buy ourselves a lighthouse here in the city of Ali Meadows. Now the city has a huge incentive to grow. So we are going to be prioritizing growth in this city. Yeah, like televangelist, tech, all that kind of cool stuff. Maybe that's like a little bit too politically controversial, because I know when you're making a game like this, like the decisions you make actually kind of incidentally belie some sort of politics that you have to be careful about how and where and what you pick and choose to keep in the game and add into the game, because you might be, you might be contributing to the historiosity of human history. I don't know, or like the incorrect historiosity. I don't know the word I'm looking for there. The misrepresentation or like the justification of things in history. You know what I mean? Like you do have to be a little bit careful. And I'm not sure how it applies to the thing we were talking about, but you do have to be careful about that kind of thing. Tourism from faith generating tiles kind of links it. I do think tourism and faith are the best linked. But there's the Petra. Any doubters, right? Who doubted that we would get revisionism? That's the word, revisionism. You got to be careful about revisionism and like justification and stuff. But there is the Petra. Any doubters didn't think I was going to get the Petra have been officially beaten the F out. If you thought I wasn't going to get the Petra, you're a piece. I'm just going to say it right now. You are a piece. And now I can start just cranking out kurgans and monasteries and enjoying my delicious yields. I'm kind of sad that I got this, both the Petra and the mausoleum in the same episode, because now I can't exploit them both for like 2 individual thumbnails. You know what? I'm that kind of guy that'll probably do that anyway. So that's the thing that we'll do. But yeah, we really want to get control of Nazca if we can. I'll even pop down a harbor. It's safe to start throwing down those harbors. Ooh, I forgot to change my government. Let me just pop. How expensive is it to change it? 3. I'll wait. Is there a cheap tech I can research real quick? Nah, I'll go for humanism. I need to retool my government a little bit. So we converted the city. Perfect. And now we'll continue to convert. We want to just have like a robust... I think we can convert Norway without any trouble, really. But if we can get Norway converted, that's like 1 civ under control that we don't have to worry about. We do almost have cartography, so that's like the next part of the engine that we're activating. My troops are merely passing by Mali. I don't know why Mali is acting up right now. But hey, who knows? Who knows and who asks? That's what I say. Right, over here in Chertomlik, we got ourselves a harbour. I'll go ahead and build the lighthouse in here. I'll go lighthouse before harbours because I want those trade routes. Probably have a few trade routes knocking about. I've got 2 envoys in the bank. I could go to level 3, but Armagh, that would start opening up the map a little bit. Let's have a look. Who do I want to try and take? Is there a civ I want to try and take suzerainty of? I'm never going to get my hands on Nalanda, unfortunately. I think an extra envoy into Nazca would give me +2 faith in every temple and consulate building. I could theoretically go for Valletta, but I don't want to buy things with faith. That's the thing. I mean, I could buy granaries and monuments and stuff like that. Ooh, buying granaries and monuments from Valletta. I think I'll hold on to this envoy for a little turn or 2. But I eventually want to get suzerainty of most of these city-states. So we shall leave it there for now and not complicate matters too much. There we go. Now that right there, that's a YouTube thumbnail. The city of Pearly Gates. Just zoom out a little bit for the thumbnail. What do you guys think? A solid YouTube thumbnail? I think it is. Yeah, we can grab Valletta in 2 turns and then use our overwhelming faith to actually make up for a lot of these granary buildings that I'm building. I probably shouldn't be building them if I'm going to do that, actually. City of Compromise is ready for its 3rd district, but I don't think I need another district. I think I'm happy. I could go for a relatively okay industrial zone if I went for an aqueduct in here. I don't think that matters. I think that's too slow. It's way too slow. I mean, maybe a harbour isn't the worst decision I could make for the extra trade route. Let's have a look at our envoy missions. That might inform us. So there is somebody that wants us to make a campus. I don't have a very good campus in here. So I can't think of a district that I really care about in here. We have everything we want. If we were going to transition out of a religion victory, we would maybe build something else. But we're not transitioning this game. We are all in on religion. So if we're all in on religion, we just start getting more settlers now. More cities means less problems. And we have activated one of the final parts of our engine. Moksha is ready. Which means instead of missionaries, I can start purchasing apostles in Compromise. You know what I forgot to do? I totally forgot to declare friendship with Norway and then get a religious alliance with him. And I want that religious alliance so that I can send international trade routes to Norway with the ideal Visselbanken plugged in eventually. I think for now, though, I'm going to plug in Diplomatic League. I'm going to take out Urban Planning in exchange for Visselbanken. I want both of these plugged in. We'll swap them around in a little while. I really also want naval infrastructure plugged in. Oh, man, okay, I'm going to put naval infrastructure here. I want conscription out. And I want veterancy in. So this will give me a boost towards my harbor production, a little bit of amenities, builders and settlers, then harbor production, and being able to take control of Valletta here. So let's go ahead and send 2 envoys to Valletta. Boom, there's control of Valletta. And now I can go through my entire empire and just be like, oh, monument, granary. I don't want to buy mosques. Mosques are a little bit too expensive. I mean, I could theoretically. If we think about it, a mosque takes about 100 turns to pay itself off. But once we upgrade our relationship with some of those city-states, it'll be a lot faster. PotatoMcWhiskey, when will you play a Poland game? I want to see you struggle with our city names. I mean, I struggle with Polish city names every single day. So, I mean, you have to wait for me to play Poland to have that. Yeah, I can actually just go through and buy monuments and granaries in every single city and save myself a huge amount of production and also increase the productivity, like the average productivity of all of my cities by a fairly large margin. Yes, it's going to cost me a lot of faith, but realistically, I'm making so much faith now that it's kind of not a problem. Here's the thing that we have to think about here. For every single one of these relationships that we get to max rank, we increase the amount of faith that we get back from our mosques by +3. So we've got to think about that for now. Right now, if I were to buy a mosque, it would take over 100 turns for that mosque to pay itself off. That's the reality of the situation. However, if I were able to get to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 religious city-states to level 6 relationship, what's that? The payoff time is like 15 turns, right? Because it's 3 times 7 is 21, and then you divide 320 by 21. So it goes down to 15 turns. So in my opinion, even though I would normally never do this, potentially buying mosques in my cities is actually a good play here. Can you explain how monuments increase your production? Monuments increase your production because then you don't have to build monuments. Okay, a monument costs you like 60 production to build, and then you can build something else. They also increase your production by claiming more tiles. The more tiles that your city owns, the more tiles that your city can work. The more tiles that your city can work, the higher potential population you get from your population. The more potential you get from your population, the more production you get. So that's culture kind of in a roundabout way leads you to more production. So what was I thinking there? I am kind of tempted. I'm tempted to start buying my mosques. It's bad now, but it will pay off. It will pay off over the long course of the game. So even though under normal circumstances I would never ever do this, and I just made a bad decision because I bought a mosque that was almost finished anyway. Under normal circumstances, I would never ever ever buy my mosques. But it's just so powerful that I can't help it. I'm going to start trading with Nidaros from my cities. In particular, we're looking for religious value. And then I might just use my gold to buy like my shrines and temples. We'll see. Where's Moksha? Moksha is over here in Kralex. Moksha isn't in compromise, so you're not getting his worth at all. I'm buying missionaries. I'm buying missionaries. Why do you think I'm buying missionaries there? Moksha doesn't boost missionaries. Wait, that's why I've been buying missionaries. Let's make military units cheaper by production. And we'll also make... Well, Buddhism stronger now is scary. I'm going to try to force my religion to be the strongest. By putting 6... Oh, wait, no, that's the wrong one. Whoops. I almost just said, hey, you guys can pillage my religion. I'm going to try to put 6 votes on my religion here. Yeah, plus 10 strength for all units of this religion. That's perfect. I don't understand. Wait, hold on. I don't understand the Moksha complaint. I've been recruiting missionaries in compromise here, and then I just bought my mosque. I was going to move Moksha over, but now that I have my mosque here, I could just buy. I don't think it makes a difference, right? Yeah, I don't think it makes a difference. So we're going to start recruiting apostles here from Kralex, 2 per turn when we can, and these will be double promoted apostles where we can pick any promotion we want. And I'm going to tell you guys about the best promotions when you're in a situation like this. There is an objectively best set of promotions when you're in this situation. It exists. Let's see if we can't pick up enough gold to buy our building. The Chancery, that's plus 3 influence per turn. We're up to 10 influence per turn now. Exciting. So we really want to be looking for trade routes. I think our missionaries are doing the work. Let's convert Stavanger. Okay. So you might look at this list, and depending on what you're reading here, if you're a new player, you might be like, oh, you could spend religion an extra 2 times. That's pretty good, right? That would be like 50% more spread power for my guy if I were to pick this. That's pretty damn good. And you would just be wrong, unfortunately. So the best promotions in this list are kind of circumstantial. If you're going for a reliquaries game, Martyr is the most important one to get your hands on. If you are going for a game like I am, where I'm going for a religious combat game, Debater is really, really high value. But if you're going for a conversion game, in any case, any sense, the strongest combo is 2 different missionaries with some combination of proselytizer and translator. You send in the proselytizer so that he eliminates 75 of the existing pressure from religions in the target city. And then the translator is your faith bomb behind that, if that doesn't convert the city. So you actually need to have the strongest conversion pair. You actually need to have two apostles working together with proselytizer, and then plus charges, and then another apostle with translator plus charges. If you have easy access to a natural wonder, you can take Pilgrim. Otherwise, honestly, just take Orator. It's oftentimes not worth it. Like, where is the nearest natural wonder? I don't even know. But yeah, proselytizer, boom, always the top pick. and then translator as his partner. These two guys together can convert 6 cities using 1 charge each. It's insane. Convert the city. Perfect. Another Norwegian city has joined us. And remember, every time we convert a city, we're getting 2 faith per turn, right? So now that we've perfectly set up our religious conversion engine, we have like a perpetual motion engine that's getting stronger and stronger over time. I know that breaks the like 3rd law of thermodynamics or whatever, but this is the 3rd law of religious dynamics, okay? We have cartography. Let's go ahead and pick up mass production for shipyards because we do have relatively good harbors this game. And then we just take orator on both of these guys, and then I would probably, like, to complete the trifecta, I would have like an apostle or 2 with debater, so you can kill enemy apostles. You can also do proselytizers. If you want to like save a little bit of money on your apostles, you can do proselytizer plus missionaries. I prefer to do it this way. I don't know. It's less micromanagement, in my opinion. I just prefer to do it this way. And if you're going to go for a thing like here, a debater, these other promotions aren't too bad. Like you can go debater, boop boop boop. So now we can fight off enemy religious units pretty easily, especially because we're in like the era of my religion being super buffed by the World Congress. Do you think there's any major part of the religious victory that needs a rework? I don't think there's like a major part of it. You could probably do it like some small reworks here or there. Here or there. Here or there. Let's buy a temple in here and then faith buy a mosque. Let's have a look here. Is there anywhere I could pick up an easy envoy? There's an easy envoy. Boom. And then I think I'll go straight for opera and ballet for those 2 envoys as well. And then colonialism for those 2 envoys. Because I need to increase my relationship status with a lot of these city-states. So even doing missions here is going to be a big, big boon for me. When it comes to your debater, I think it's fine to actually take something like proselytizer as well. And that's what I would do 99% of the time, is just take proselytizer because it's the strongest of the promotions. Honestly, you could just make do with like debater, proselytizer, and completely annihilate the entire map of religion. I mean, it's slightly more optimal to kind of like mix and match a couple of the beliefs, but if you're being lazy, you can totally do it that way. I think the only real problem, the only real major rework that religious victory in Civ 6 needs is that it should interact with the other victory conditions a little bit more. The fact that you only need faith to win it's a little bit too one-dimensional of a victory condition. I mean, at least in a science victory, you also have to get high production. In a culture victory, you have to worry about tourism, domination. You have to balance like military micromanagement with economy, with positioning and timings, and there's a lot that goes into a lot of these other victory conditions. Whereas religion, they attempted to make it a little bit more interesting, and I think they did an okay job at making religion interesting, but they didn't quite hit the mark where I would say like, oh yeah, religion is good. It's just kind of religious victory is just kind of I think in multiplayer there's just a few. Well, one of the major reworks I would say is that you shouldn't be able to kill religious units with military units. That's kind of dumb. Or at least there should be some kind of cost. I don't know. But the city of Alley Meadows is essentially finished being built. So the only things I really need are maybe like holy site prayers. Like, do I really need anything but this? We've got an envoy in the bank. I'm going to send one to Armagh. This will give me +3 faith across a bunch of different buildings. We're up to 400 faith per turn. Just by the way, to put that in perspective, Ethiopia is making 170. I'm making 400. Japan's making 200. Basil's making 100. Tamar's making 200. Norway's making 73. Mansa Musa is making about 50. And Pachacuti is making about 20. So we are absolutely shredding it on faith. However, do keep in mind that shredding it on faith means we're bottom science, means we're bottom culture, means we're bottom domination, means we're bottom everything. Also, where were the people at the start of this stream that were like, oh, reroll time? You know what, dude? It's more like rewind time. We need to go back in time and slap them up the side of the head. Alright, we're fine. Objectively fine. But I think now that the engine is active, we're starting to spread, and the apostles are starting to roll in. I think I'm going to call that the end of this video and the end of this live stream. I love you all very much, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye. Okay, so that's all I have time for today. I might be able to get on for another short stream tomorrow. Depends on how my stuff works out. But hey, this was a fun game. This developed into a really, really fun Scythia religion game. Scythia religion game. I hope you guys enjoyed. I'm going to go ahead and bounce you guys over to Midamutin, who is currently doing a, I believe, a huge subathon. So if you have a Twitch Prime, go ahead and Twitch Prime for him so that he is forced to stream for longer. I would really appreciate it. /raid. Mr. Mouton. I play D&D with him.